I had planned to be on time, boy. I hope I don't got toothpaste in my mouth. I left the cord for my camera. I apologize. I wanted to have the camera coming from that way, but I left the cord for my camera. So that's my bad. My bad. How y'all doing? Come on in this thing, man. Oh, before we get started, hold up. Hold up. Let me do my disclaimer. Disclaimer, YouTube, disclaimer. Yeah, stay home and stay safe. Matter of fact, let me get some of this water. Swagger Dash was hitting. I'm trying to gain 5 pounds. I'm 265 right now. I don't like it. I want to be around 270. So I'm gonna gain 5 pounds this week by hook or by crook. I'm finna get on some creatine or something. I don't like being 265. I feel a little too light. I like to be around 270. So yeah, I gotta gain 5. So I'm trying to bulk up, do my push-ups or something, but you know, I'm getting stronger, but not gaining no weight. I think I gotta put down the Swagger Dash or something. But listen, man, I just feel like playing this real quick. It's Friday. I feel like turning up. I might go get me a shot to this song, y'all. I might go get me a shot to this song. I'm feeling like this right now. This is how I'm feeling right now.
Like KB said, KB said that, KB said this. It's gonna be a hell of a thing. You trying to go against a nigga after you on YouTube talking about like KB said 1,000 goddamn times. Nigga, please. You getting out your body, son.
Like KB said, like KB said, I repeat that shit so much, got his quotes in my head. Like KB said, like KB said, if KB ain't say that shit, then it probably ain't said. Food salad, like KB said, bag of bomb, like KB said, social construct, like KB said, hit that Swagger Dash, bitch, like KB said. KB drop a phrase, I'ma snatch that bitch quick. Next panel, I'm repeating it like I invented that shit. He say, food salad, now I'm serving that plate. Don't ask for the recipe, bitch, KB already ate. He say, bag of bomb, I'ma run that shit today. Say it 15 fucking times till it's stick in your head. I put social construct on the end of every thought. Don't matter what we talking about, that's the answer I was taught. KB say, hold up, shit, I'm hollering, hold up too. KB change the subject, goddamn, I'm changing mine too. He get loud, I get louder, trying to talk over the man, but he keep right on talking like, who the fuck is Garrick again? Then I Swagger Dash, blow the smoke, come right back, listening for another phrase I can throw inside my sack. I got no damn original shit. Why would I instead when somebody got the blueprint, bitch, like KB said? KB said, what like KB said? I repeat that shit so much, got his quotes in my head. Like KB said, what like KB said? If KB ain't say that shit, then it probably ain't said. Food salad, what like KB said? Bag of bomb, what like KB said? Social construct, what like KB said? Hit that Swagger Dash, bitch, like KB said.
All right, hold on. Let me make sure my mic plugged in. I think I messed up my Yeti. No, it's back. All right. I like that drop. Salute. Hey, but listen. No, this is not my work. Oh, let me get a content creator their credit. Let me go back to that song. That's Drop Squad TV. Drop Squad TV. Salute. Yeah, y'all could drop the link in the chat. That's Drop Squad TV. And then we got Hennyway. We got Hennyway up in this thing, be doing her thing on the drops. So y'all drop her link in the chat too. Hennyway be doing her thing. Meal Ticket be doing his thing. Mob Only be doing his thing. Shout out to the beautiful ladies in the chat. All the beautiful ladies coming back now that we ain't got guys up in the chat feeling like ladies, arguing with the ladies, running the ladies off, cussing at women for 2 years. Now that they not all up in the chat, I think everything is pretty cool. You know, I'm gonna go unblock some people, and I forgot to do something before the screen, but don't worry. But I'm gonna go unblock some people. Yeah, man. Anyway, be killing them with her drops. Oh yeah. Yeah, man. We got the men out here that, you know, they up out of the chat harassing the ladies, running them off, making them feel unsafe. I ain't heard a woman ask me yet, Kwame, do you protect the women? Because they feel safe already. It ain't no man aggressing them in the chat, you know. Feels good. It actually feels good for once. But let's get into this conversation that Jason Whitlock had and that Marcellus Wiley was going over. Because like these guys or not like these guys, everybody's going to be liked based on what they say and not liked based on what they say. That's just come with the territory. The more you speak, the more people have an opportunity not to like you, and they look for it. But there's some people that don't like Jason Whitlock, so they don't listen to nothing he say. And there's you shouldn't do that, because sometimes even the people that you don't like, they can come up with some things that's like, aha, that was so true. And they can explain it in a way unlike anyone else. Marcellus Wiley has his own way of explaining things. He gonna come live and direct. I got a cousin like that. You better not ask him no questions, because you might not give it the way you think, but it's gonna be honest, it's gonna be fair, it's gonna be impartial, and it's gonna be straight to the damn point. And it's gonna sound good, even though you don't like it. You know, and Jason Whitlock, he's the type of person that'll say whatever he want to say to you right in your face and laugh at it. I can respect that. I think it's funny. Kenneth Perry said, Bus Life, salute to the mother effing landlord. Salute, bro. Appreciate that. Cardio Royalty said, what's up, everybody? Royalty said, what's up, everybody? That motherfucker can run, boy. I wish I had some cardio like that. But it's getting there, though. I'm a light big 7 foot now. I got to gain 5 pounds. I don't like being 265. That neck done got a little too skinny. So now I'm in there getting that back big. I'm trying to get big back. I'm in there with the dumbbells, get the back big and doing the little pull-ups, but the back ain't getting big. It just gets so. I said, oh, Lord, the shoulder still hurting, boy, from the surgery, Lord. You know what I mean? So I just went to the rotator cuff stuff, you know, but I got to gain about 5 pounds. I like to be about 270. That's a good weight for me. But I don't know what's going on. I used to walk past the weights, and then I'd be yoked up for about 3-4 days. I just be walk around with my arms like this. But now, it just be like, God damn, I'm so. LeBron get this 5th ring. You and Ticket better stay quiet. Damn, bro. I wasn't even saying nothing about LeBron. They must miss me talking about LeBron, boy. Then LeBron fans, Kwame, don't say shit about LeBron. Then I don't say nothing, and then they come over here, Bron this, Bron that. I ain't say nothing about LeBron, bro. God, dog, man. Let me have a live that you don't bring him up. All right? I ain't even got LeBron in the title, bro. Where you get this LeBron talk from? These boys, it's some new type of dudes in the world today, boy. God bless y'all though. Y'all scary. Y'all dangerous, boy. Niggas will shoot at you in a purse. What you say? Let off a 30 round in some high heel. Yeah, bitch. I ain't taking too Cali no man calling me the B word wearing a purse and high heels. That'll just hurt my little ego. I might have to crash out. So no, man, I don't get into it with y'all. I stay out in the country. I don't want no smoke. You know what I mean? You don't know who is who no more, boy. We used to be able to say, shut up, you little buster, and run somebody off scared that was dressing and looking a certain way. These dudes will pull out a Draco out their little skinny jeans or they tights. They'll flip their little tights out the way and unfold a Draco. I'm like, what the? How the hell you get that right? What the? Hold on, big dog. They'll have you freeze up like a statue, 4 foot tall. In some jeggings. Nigga pull out a mini folding Draco on your big ass. I'm telling you. You gotta leave these motherfuckers alone. They can have their eyebrows done wearing high heels, jeggings, and them big space boots. But boy, they got something in they purse or whatever they got. I don't know how they hide that shit. They got something down the leg of them jeggings, boy. I'm trying to tell you. I don't know what's going on, but just don't say nothing to nobody. I just let everybody be who they are. I don't even want to talk no more. Just leave me be. I just go out here and act loopy. I just go out here, get high, and just be walking around like I don't know nothing. I don't see nobody. I'm slow as I don't see nothing. Because they don't want you to notice. He's talking about if a mother ever smaller than my wife, I'm not arguing. I'm swinging. You bet that swing. They come in a pack, boy. Boy, your back gonna be riddled with bullets. They don't give a damn if they shoot at their friend. They gonna be so mad. Ah! You better not mess with these jokes. Keep your hand to yourself. Keep your hand to yourself, boy. These boys crazy out here nowadays, boy. And they don't look crazy. They look like nice little gamers, little square kids. But boy, I don't understand what's going on. These little mother truckers is crazy. They playing video games and must be listening to Pooh Shiesty. Leave them alone. But listen, let's get into this conversation, man. I think this is very interesting. This is an interesting conversation, if you ask me. Those of you that don't like Jason Whitlock, I understand. You got to suffer through it. But those of you who can conversate with anyone or just listen to anyone, because sometimes a broken clock is right twice a day, be able to handle it twice a day.
Pro-transgender the way the media sells them. They are pro-women who live like men. That is the whole plot.
That's deep. I have never thought about that in my life. But then when you hear it, you're like, oh, I have seen that.
The WNBA is not pro-transgender the way the media sells it. They are pro-women who live like men. That is the whole plot. Cheryl Reeve puts on a trans kids belong shirt. Gabby Williams and the activist class run the same script. And everybody pretends this is about males crashing a women's locker room. It is not. Listen to the people who actually run the culture of that league.
If we have a league that was built on Black women, and we still have a league that is still majority Black women, if Black queer women are not excluding people from shit, then none of us are.
Absolutely. Y'all following? That was interesting what she just said there. Whitlock gonna have to unpack that. Huh?
Just said the quiet part with the volume all the way.
So that's why I don't understand why we have so many athletes and so many people that don't see what's really going on. There's something going on to where language and the way that we see things are being shifted, and they're kind of soft pressing you to do it. But Enes Kanter and Royce White put a big, gigantic spotlight on it, because you have biological males going into female restrooms right now as we speak. They have bathrooms in certain restaurants where they don't have male or female. designated on there. I can literally go into either bathroom I want to. If I see a pretty woman at a bar and she's going in the bathrooms, depending on what state I'm in, I can act like a lady and walk right in the bathroom behind her. And I'm just like, okay, I don't judge, but it's just like, is that what we want? So putting a light on it in this basketball way, and trying to get people to define what a woman is really got people caught up. Because if you define what a woman is from a biological standpoint, then you're going to have to tell some people some sad news, and they don't want to tell nobody some sad news. So everybody must say that a man that says he's a woman, he's a woman. So that's how we got to the point to where Royce White, or Royisha, if you will, and Enes Kanter is doing what they're doing. Because it's like, you got quit playing with us. What is it? Is that what it is or not? Because if so, we finna have another NBA. And if it's not, define what a woman is so we can stop playing this game. And they don't want to do that. It's been 2 weeks. Nobody defines what a woman is. And then Enes Kanter is wearing a shirt that defines what a woman is, because that was his whole point, was not to go to the game to fight anybody. His whole point was when that girl put a spotlight on him, he stood up and he opened his arms so the world could see his shirt, because nobody has been defining what a woman is. Have you guys not seen it? Kataji Brown, none of them can tell you what a woman is. They ask what women that are coaches in the WNBA, hey, what's a woman? I'm not a biologist. I didn't know you had to be a biologist to know what a woman is. Hell, we seen the movie. The little boy said, boys have a penis and women have a vagina. We always knew what a woman is. A woman is your mama. Simple. But nobody in the world that's of power can define what a woman is. And if you ask them, you've just asked them the question of the year. And so Jason Whitlock is breaking it down, pretty much saying they're not pro-trans, they're pro-women that act like men. So that's what this is about. The women that want to be men are the ones that they're talking about.
Way up. The league was built on black women, according to them. It is still majority black women. And if black queer women are not excluding people, then none of us are. That is not a sports science argument. That is an identity argument. That is a culture declaring its standard for the entire WNBA. And what is the standard? Look at how the stars actually live. Brittany Garner has talked about wanting her kids to call her pops. Take a listen.
You're about to be a mom.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Pops, 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 pops. Yeah, pops.
You're about to be a mom. Yeah, pops. So there's already a trans man in the WNBA. By definition, this young person says that she is a man. That's a transgender male. They're already in the WNBA. Why can't Enes Kanter play based on their own logic and their own ideology? There's nothing that Enes Kanter and Royce White is doing that's wrong. Because this is a pops now. I respect this man's opinion. This is a pops. But we can't respect. She was 6'9". Enes Kanter only a couple of inches taller than him. So what's going on?
About wanting her kids to call her pops. Take a listen.
You're about to be a mom.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Pops, 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 pops. Yeah, pops.
That is not a woman defending womanhood. That is a woman claiming the male seat in the house. Kirsten Bell presents Like a Man. The Stud Buds brand is a male identity with a ring light.
Dog, when I found out about that, I was like, why has it got so much traction? And then, here's the thing. It's okay for all things to coexist, but you can't put resistance in place. You can't say, okay, we're going to squish you into this corner. Come into this room, but this is the corner you must sit in. So think about it. And I've heard this a lot. The heterosexual female who, you know, got a husband at home, got 2 itty bitties, and she playing in the WNBA. She's in the room, but they got her in the corner. Because if you come to this event, and some people said Caitlin Clark didn't go to the Stud Buzz or didn't walk the red carpet because she didn't want to deal with that. She didn't want her brand to be put in the corner. Because if not, you got to go over there with the main stage. And the main stage is, you know how we getting down. That's
Tasha Howard. Who do you think the man of the house?
And if you've never been to a WNBA game, then you don't understand. It's hard to take your kids to a WNBA game. And that's probably one of the reasons why LeBron James won't allow his daughter. This is a basketball family. This is a man that loves basketball, but he does not want his little girl to play basketball. All of his other kids, if that was a boy, he would be pushing it to play basketball. But because he has a little girl, in no way possible he wants that little girl to play basketball. And I think I know why.
Is in Stephanie White's relationship with ESPN's Lisa Salters. Half the league's off-court relationships run on the same pattern. The woman is the man in the pair. They dress like it, they move like it, they police language like it. That off-court male identity is the mirror they are fighting to keep polished. So when that culture says trans, they are not daydreaming about Leah Thomas taking the last scholarship. They are protecting the woman and the women who already live as men. They want the world to affirm her male presentation. They want no parts of competing against the man who wants to become a woman. Those are opposite projects. One is internal solidarity. The other is a biological trespass on the category that pays their bills. That is why the shirt always shows up and the testosterone data never does. That is why Protect Women's Sports gets mocked as stupidity on their podcast, while Trans Kids Belong gets a standing ovation. They are not confused. You are. The press is. The league office is happy to let you stay confused because confusion is good branding and bad categories make good activism.
Yo.
Damn. I don't even think y'all understood what he just said. Goodness gracious. Because that's why everybody's like, why is it taking so long for people to define what a woman is? Charles Barkley came out with it, common sense. There's a W in the front of it. Like, what is going on? And he just explained it perfectly. Let's hear what Jason Whitlock, not Jason Whitlock. Let's hear what Marcella's got to say.
He wrote this one. I know that some people don't like Jason Whitlock, and I know some people don't like me, and I know some people don't like everybody. So I don't play that game. Like, I give everybody a new clean slate, and then they sometimes just follow their patterns. Jason is like, he's unveiling what's really at the core of this, because we all see the hit. I don't care where you are with things. Just disconnect from where you are to where this is. And where this is, because of the hypocrisy, because of the contradictions, because of the pretzel logic we keep saying, y'all tripping on Enos, and he trying to protect y'all. Why? Because, as he said, we are confused. They not. They fighting a different battle. They just ain't announcing it.
Common sense is simple. A league full of women who identify as male in the relationship will defend transgender men. Women living as men, like family. They will not defend males in the female lane the same way.
KB, maybe I'm stupid, but if Brittany Griner said she's a man, shouldn't he play in the NBA and be banned from the WNBA? No, that's my point. And that's Jason Whitlock's point. They're already allowing transgenders in the WNBA. She is considered a transgender male. Roisha would be considered a transgender female. But they're saying that they respect all trans, but if they did, then Roisha would be qualified to play. Or they would have to say that the WNBA is only for biological females. They're not going to come out and say that. This whole, what was disrespectful about what Royce did, not Royce, Enos did, was he got on a national stage and he stood up with the definition of a woman spread across his shirt. And every news station said the same thing. Remember how I told y'all how to determine the go along, get along game? What do? They all parrot the same talking point. They all said that he wore a shirt that was provocative. They said it on the Breakfast Club. They said it on Power 101, whatever that is, with Ebro and them. It was provocative. With where Charles Barkley went, they said there was something wrong with the shirt. It was provocative. All of them parroted that the shirt was a problem. And the only thing that was on the shirt was the definition of what a woman is. How has that now become egregious or provocative or something that was meant to hurt somebody? And if you could just get away with saying that without explaining it, then you're changing language. You're changing things, because I didn't know purely defining what a woman is was provocative to anybody. And none of them explained it. They just made that statement, and then boom, it just caught on. Every news station said the same shit. And this is how the brainwashing go, because then they'll say it in their households. Well, Enos Cantor, he went there to start trouble with that provocative shirt. And they won't even ask what was so provocative about the shirt. They'll just parrot what every news station has already said. And that's why they say the same thing. And that's why we have go along, get along gangs all over the world, because people wake up to the Breakfast Club. They wake up to Steve Harvey in the morning show. They wake up to Ricky Smiley. That's their routine. And it's easy to inject poison in your routine if you tell people your routine. If you keep that same routine, if you don't switch it up. When the greatest workouts that I have ever been through is they trick the body. They trick the muscle groups. They had me working this part of my body, this part of my body, and this part of my body to trick my body into being better than what it wanted to be. Your body can set in position and plateau out and get used to whatever workout. But if you start tricking it, doing all kind of different routines, speeding that heart rate up, slowing it down, working on different stabilizing, different shit. And that's what you got to do. You can't have the same routine. And unfortunately, people have the exact same routine. They feed themselves the exact same meal. And the meal that they get is an ideology. It's not anything that has anything to do with a back and forth, opposing opinions, real conversation. It's all just shutting off the other side. What did they tell you if you got a family member that liked Trump or voted for Trump? They didn't tell you to go do something educated. I could have sworn there was an educated man that said, when there's conversation and there's differences, you have more conversation. I never heard them say, just go into groups of people that think like you and get away from people that harm or hurt you and attack you with words. It's like, damn, just don't go outside no more if this is the way you think. Like, if you're that afraid of somebody talking, I always feel safe when somebody talking. It's when they stop talking is when I start thinking like, okay, something to happen. When you talking to me, that's cool. When you stop talking, I'm like, okay, now I'm looking around. It get a little quiet. But we don't want to have conversation no more. We want to say a stop word that control the conversation. He's malicious. He's attacking. He's a misogynist. He's a this or this and that. He's a istic. He's a this. He's beneath me. We got these little stop words that the people that justify their statements with this stupidity don't have to have a conversation with you after that. And I just think that's weak. And if you look at this thing from where it really is, they're posing, if you will. They fake in our culture and they cap in our culture. You've been saying trans belong. These are trans women now. But you don't want to compete with that. You want the women that want to be trans men. And that's it. That's all they want. They want to act like a man, but they don't want to compete with other men that feel like women. And I think they should define what a woman is. Let's all define what a woman is so we get a clear understanding of it.
Watch what they celebrate. Watch what they wear. Watch who they call pops. The WNBA is not leading a science debate. It is protecting its own mirror.
Yeah, everybody was talking about journalism. That was some journalism. God dang. You do your job so well, I ain't got nothing to say, but wow. And I got something to say always, but wow. That was insane. I know, look, I'm just going to keep it that wow. I wish my daughter was WNBA worthy. But then when they got to that place, I also will be leery of like, baby, protect yourself. Be careful up there now. You know, it ain't all good. You know, you want your son or daughter to go to that high school because they got a great academics, they got a great football team. But then you also say, look, be careful in the neighborhood. Be careful on the way to school. You know what you got to go through to get there. It's one of those. That's what this looked like from the outside, at least.
I did not cross over the baseline or sideline, and we're not allowed to touch any players, obviously, the fans. So I didn't break any rules. So for them to come out and throw me out of the game and literally,
Enes Kanter, you did break a rule. Come on now. You know that nobody in America is getting on television right now and defining what a woman is. So you knew what you was doing. You was making a statement that they perceived as provocative now, and they are holding your foot to the fire for defining what a woman is. If you look, I can go find clips of them asking coaches and asking people, what is a woman? And they can't answer the question. Let me let this roll and I'll show you. You broke a rule. You define what a woman is. And you know better. That you should not do ever. Don't ever define what a woman is again.
They said his actions was equal to shooting a gun. I just cannot believe it. I don't know who is this PR person, but they're doing a terrible job. So we might be looking into a lawsuit for sure, because this is unacceptable. And this is not.
You hear that? Lawsuit.
What a sportsmanship look like. Natasha Colat should be the one that's thrown out of the game or get fined. We wrote to Commissioner and the task force. We are waiting for them to hear back, but this is just unacceptable. This is not what a sportsmanship look like. So we'll just wait to see what happens. I did not.
Wait to see what happens. So this is the version, the public version of a demand letter. Basically, he's basically saying, look, if y'all don't adjust, if y'all don't change your tune, if y'all don't apologize, y'all don't clarify, something coming your way. That's what. If you guys never received a demand letter, and look, when I was an itty bitty and growing up and in college, I never got one. Demand letters come when you got some money. You all of a sudden somebody be like, yeah, I demand you. You know you did me wrong. Well, you were broke before, so I ain't demanding nothing. But now you got some money. I'm demanding you give me some money, or else I'm gonna tell the world. And that's where they are right now. He about to talk that talk. So we're gonna find that letter, and we also gonna hear him talk a little bit more on the whole conversation of let's give him a little more on that convo right
now. Hold up, Big Swole Up. Since everybody think this a game, hold up, Big Swole Up. We're gonna take this to the highest of the high. They can't define what a woman is in damn nowhere. I don't know what y'all talk about. I don't know what y'all see. I'm starting to not know what a woman is. I thought a woman was your mama. Do you think you can get an interview with Cantor or Royce White? I think you would break the internet. Yeah, I need to reach out to one of them. I never did. I'll try to hit them up on Twitter, because this is sad. I know somebody that might can get in touch with both of them. I'll text them today. But this is sad, man. I want y'all to see this, because everybody think that this is a game until it's not. And I know most people don't see stuff like this, but watch this.
Is Ms. Mace from South Carolina.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and good morning. The government of the District of Columbia, under the leadership sitting in front of us today, has become a poster child for DEI and gender madness. This has led to government. Mr. Chairman, this is not a concert. This audience can just settle down.
Stop the clock. And the gentlelady's right. Under the rules of the House, the chairman is responsible for maintaining order and preserving decorum in the committee room. I expect audience members to be respectful of the committee. So
Now, this is a place where rules matter. Rules are supposed to be, they're supposed to be a stickler for rules in this place. You're supposed to act like you got some sense. They got strict rules in here. Now, she said one thing about something that they didn't like, and they immediately start talking, breaking the rules.
I'd like to reclaim my time too.
Reclaim, absolutely.
This has led to government-sanctioned racial discrimination and the erasure of women. Article 1, Section 8, Clause 17 provides Congress plenary authority over the District of Columbia. Using this authority today, I'll be introducing the No DEI in DC Act. This bill will rip the DEI and gender bender nonsense out of the DC government root and branch, and restore common sense and equal treatment under the law. As the individuals charged with writing DC laws, signing DC laws, and enforcing DC's laws, we have some questions for you on the meanings of some of the curious terms we have found in the DC Code. My first question for Mayor Bowser, it's yes or no. The DC Code makes numerous references to, quote, structural or institutional racism. Do you believe the DC government is structurally or institutionally racist? Yes or no? Yes or no? Is DC government racist, institutionally racist? Yes or no? All right, you can't answer the question. So my next question for Mayor Bowser, since you're going to sit there and placate or just be quiet, in section
forgot to-
7-1234.02 of DC Code, you use the phrase child welfare involved birthing people. Child welfare involved birthing people. Can you explain to me what this means?
I'm not that familiar with that part of
Okay,
the
and
code.
Birthing people is the new word for woman. You guys are not women anymore. That sounds like some misogynistic stuff that a man would say. Like, you guys ain't important. Y'all just birthing people. I don't agree with that. I think a woman is great. A woman is way more than just birthing people. But for some reason, they want to qualify women as birthing people. So let's see how this conversation play out.
so you don't know. In section 7-1234-02 of DC Code, use the phrase justice involved incarcerated and homeless birthing people and their non-birthing partners. Can you explain to this committee what that means?
I would have to
You
see
don't
the whole
know. You're
section.
literally the mayor of DC and you don't know your own code of laws.
Well, I don't know.
All right,
them
one thing we
verbatim.
noticed the DC Code struggles to define is the term woman. So
She's smiling, but she doesn't even know the code, and she's the mayor.
the Mayor Bowser, what is a woman?
I'm a woman. Are you a woman?
100%.
Okay.
100%.
I'm a woman. You're looking at one.
Okay, good. You actually, in section 3-703 of the DC Code, you use the phrase, the intersectionality of gender and race to create unique dynamics and effects. Can you explain what this means to the committee?
Where is that, ma'am?
Section 3-703 of the DC Code. Do you know what that means? No,
could
you
give
don't
me
know what
the
that means. So
title of the-
chapter 14D of the DC Code establishes
Mr.
the
Chairman,
commission.
I'm happy to answer questions.
Mr.
but
Chairman, I'm going to
can't-
reclaim my time. This is not her time, it's my time. You can be quiet as I ask you questions, and then you can answer them. And then you can
If
answer
you
them.
would give,
I'm not, Mr. Chairman, this is my time, not hers. I'd like to reclaim my time.
let's make good use of the time, Ms.
Chair
Mays.
I'm making very good
Chair
use of my
recognizes
time.
Ms.
And
Mays.
you're
Ms.
making
Mays
my
has the
point.
floor.
You're the mayor of DC, and you don't even know your own code of laws. What is a birthing person?
I would assume it's someone who gives birth.
All right. Why don't you use, are these women? Are these moms? Do you think it's appropriate to call them birthing person? Can a man birth a person?
Well,
Be a
that's
birthing
what I
person?
would call it, but I don't write all the laws, and I'm not familiar with every
Can
section.
men get pregnant?
No.
Can men become women?
Can a man become a woman?
Yeah. Can a
If-
man
if
become a
you're-
woman?
Miss
Yes
Mace,
or no? Can a man become a woman? Yes or no?
Miss Mace, I'm not
Okay,
here to
my
talk
next
about that.
question, chapter 14D of the DC Code establishes the commission.
See, now I know this lady is cutting her off a lot because they have these conversations all the time, and these people are fed up with the malarkey. They always want to dance around the question. She asked her yes or no, can a man become a woman? And I'm going to slow it down so you can hear. She was trying to say, I'm not going to answer that question.
Man become a woman?
Can men
Familiar with every
Can
section.
men get
Call it, but I don't write all the laws, and I'm not familiar with every
Can
section.
men get pregnant?
No.
Can men become women?
Can a man become a woman?
Yeah. Can a
If-
man
if
become a
you're- if-
woman?
Miss
Yes
Mace,
or no? Can a man become a woman? Yes or no?
Miss Mace,
So she had time to answer no again, but she said, Miss Mace, can a man become a woman? Yes or no? Miss Mace. She's going to say, Miss Mace. I'm not going to answer that question.
Miss
Yes
Mace,
or no? Can a man become a woman? Yes or no?
Miss Mace, I'm not here
Okay,
to
my
talk
next
about that.
question, chapter
Miss Mace, I'm not here to talk about that. Nobody's answering this question. This is one of the biggest questions in the world that people cannot answer. Whether a man can become a woman. They've been trying to get them to answer this all over the world. And Enos Cantor and Royce White has now got the whole world asking this question now. Because there are two former NBA players. You guys don't see these backdoor meetings where they're asking mayors and asking women these simple questions that they cannot answer, and they will not answer. They will not answer.
14D of the DC Code establishes the Commission on Reparations and a reparations fund to provide eligible African Americans monetary reparations or other forms of redress. Is it the position of DC government benefits should be provided to individuals on the basis of race?
I believe that the legislation requires a study.
Okay, I'm asking you, is it the position of the DC government that government benefits should be provided on the basis of race?
If you're
is the
referring to
question.
that legislation, I believe it requires a study.
Okay, I'm asking you a question. Do you believe that government benefits should be given out on the basis of race? That is the question. This is the third time I'm asking.
We have any number of benefits programs, and eligibility is
Okay.
established.
You're not answering any of these questions.
They don't go in there and answer one question ever. Do you think it should be based on race? We have what? Huh? We think it should be equal opportunity. Do you think it should be based on race? What? Hey, these things be funny because you be thinking that you think that it's just some normal shit, and it's not. It is not. They cannot define what a woman is. It's a real thing. Nobody will ever answer this question.
Corner because they won't define what a woman is. And when you won't define what a woman is, then you're leaving the door open not only to the gym, but to the bathroom. You leave the doors wide open everywhere. We just had Wee Spa out here like 4 years ago when a dude with a beard who just wanted to look at some titties just like walked in, and they were like, "What's going on?" It's like, "I'm using the ladies' shower." And they're like, "I guess you are, because we don't have rules because we can't define anything."
Yeah.
And that's the scary part. In some places that they have men now showering in the woman's shower, and there's nothing you can do. They can sue the whole arena. They can sue the whole gym. They can walk into an LA Fitness. I can literally walk into an LA Fitness, say that I identify as a woman, go in there and shower with the ladies. And if any lady has a problem with it, they can get the hell out because I'm a girl now. And there's nothing you can do. But they keep acting like this is not a problem because they do not want to answer this question, what is a woman? What the only thing they were offended by is that he stood up with the definition of what a woman is. And if anybody say anything different, then why won't they tell you why that shirt was provocative? Why won't they tell you what they meant by this is provocative? No one can tell you. What did they say and do that was provocative? There's video after video of people can't define what a woman is.
And the gentleman.
The world has been asking this question in these meetings, and I'm like, why can't they answer this question?
Lady yields back chair. Thanks. The gentlelady from Indiana is recognized for questions.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you to Dr. Fox, Chairwoman Fox, and the ranking member for coming before the Rules Committee. As a member of the Education and Workforce Committee, I'm certainly happy to have considered this and many other issues this Congress. As you know, the committee did pass the Protection of Women and Girls Sports Act in an effort to protect Title IX, which the Department of Education has failed to do. As a parent of 2 female student athletes, I do have a vested interest in this issue. I had the opportunity to speak with Riley Gaines on her personal experience competing against a biological male, as well as the NCAA allowing Leah Thomas full access to female locker rooms without the female swimmers' consent. And when Secretary Cardona came before our committee to testify, you might remember that I asked him a question requiring women to undress in front of Leah Thomas and allowing Leah to undress in front of them. I asked the secretary if he believed that constituted sexual harassment, and his.
So for people to say that that's not a problem, just imagine every swimmer on that team had to watch a man get undressed in front of them, had to shower with a man, and had to undress in front of another man. And they didn't want to do that. But this is supposedly to make this person feel comfortable. But you're going to make a whole locker room of women feel uncomfortable to make one person feel comfortable. It doesn't make any sense. But we are reaching an all-time level of dishonesty. Yeah, and we got all of these YouTube channels. We got all these people. They will not touch this with a 40-foot pole because they know YouTube is going to put no ads on it. YouTube is going to act like you're saying something wrong when you're just trying to have an open dialogue on what is a woman. We've been taught about chromosomes our entire life. What is a woman? Salute to you, bro.
Answer was yes. I was surprised that he answered it that way. But as the questioning went on, he realized where I was going with that. I said if Leah Thomas identified as a male, would requiring female swimmers to dress with him have constituted sexual harassment? And he said yes. So I find it odd that our colleagues on the other side of the aisle are so intent on opposing what we're simply asking, which is to protect the integrity of women's sports for biological women and to protect women from having men in their locker rooms. And as parents of two daughters who were swimmers, this is an issue that is something that mothers and parents across the country, unfortunately, are having to deal with. And the Biden administration has just simply doubled down on it.
Did you hear what the young lady just said? Parents and husbands across the world have been dealing with this. What did I tell you? There's men that's going to jail because they're standing in front of a lady's bathroom telling a man that feels like he's a woman that you're not entering in this bathroom. Guess what? If a police officer is around, you're going to jail in front of your child. You're going to be handcuffed and booked and thrown into a jail in front of your child for doing something that us men have been programmed to do, which is protect our daughters. And I know it's some men gonna say, yeah, I'll go to jail for it. Why? When you could just help come up with legislation that stop that. You don't got to go to jail for something that should not be a law. Should be a law that protect men from having to do that. And you should have a law that protect young girls from having a male in the bathroom. But hey, that's where we are. And people are pretending like that's not where we are, but that's where we are.
So to Chairwoman Fox, I want to touch a little bit about there was a recent Supreme Court decision in the Loper-Bright case overturning Chevron deference. Do you think that this rule should be overturned by the courts?
Oh, absolutely. And we already have split decisions on the part of the courts on this issue. And we've got two different court cases, and I want to make sure.
And people don't even know. They've gone to court about this. You heard what she said. We were split in court on this issue. So these are things that's been this is going on in America. This is not a game. This is not a joke.
I stay on the right one, but yes, I think that it could be overturned by the courts. And again, we've got court precedent where two courts, or one court said, here we go, a split among federal courts. In January of last year, the 11th Circuit held that a school district's policy requiring people to use the bathroom that corresponds with the student's biological sex is allowed under Title IX. In addition, the first two court cases that have been handed down in cases challenging this regulation have argued that the regulation is an overreach and an abuse of power. So the argument that with this rule, the Biden administration is simply doing what courts have said must be done when they're talking about Bostock in that case, the opposite is true. The Supreme Court explicitly warned against applying its Bostock ruling to Title IX, but the Biden administration is ignoring that warning.
Chairwoman Fox, do you think Congress intended Title IX to protect the rights of boys to shower with girls?
Absolutely not.
And this action by the Biden administration, does it not invent such a right for more than 50 years after Title IX's enactment? It seems like this is that type of overreach, that it codifies, if you will, that the Biden administration believes that boys do have a right to shower with girls.
I think that's absolutely true. Again, as I said in my earlier comments, Title IX was designed to protect women, give them equal opportunity, and this is wiping it out. And it's really a puzzle to me as to why the Democrat Party has decided to wipe out women.
Mr. Scott, you have made, you received some questions from my colleague, Mr. Norman, and he asked if you believe.
When she say wipe out women, she means that every record is going to go to a biological male. The strongest woman in the world is a biological male now. It was a woman. She is now second place. It was a biological woman. Now it's a biological male. And if that trend continues, because what they really want is kids that are viral down and get on puberty blockers before they experience puberty. They want those young boys to actually qualify as girls. So if they can catch them before they experience puberty, they want the world to say that those are girls. And then they want those boys to be able to compete. Those are the boys that's going to be able to compete with girls. They're going to make it a little, hey, this person had a test. This person has a certain status, a certain card. It's going to happen in California first. They're going to have a certain card, an identification card, and based on that card is going to have their status, and they're going to be able to play with the girls. This is coming, whether you like it or not. And that's what they're trying to hide.
There are differences between men and women, and you said yes. You do believe there are differences between men and women.
Yes.
Yes. So I just want to ask you, and this is in all seriousness, how do you define a woman? What is a woman?
Well, how do I define a woman?
How would you define?
Look, he looked back. As a plumber, I should start suing businesses building gender-specific bathrooms that will start messing with their donors, and things will change. Salute to you, American man. Hey, look how you look around when they ask her, what is a woman? That nigga look back like, help, lawyer.
How do I define a woman?
How would you define a woman?
If you're looking for, you mentioned some court cases, the bus stock.
Well, I didn't ask about the court cases. Before you get to the court.
Oh shit! Look how he looking around. Hey, you asked me what a woman is? You said something about some court cases. You said something about some food stamps and he looking back like hell. But this ain't a big deal. This ain't no big topic that nobody can answer what a woman is.
Do you define a woman? What is a woman?
Well, how do I define a woman?
How would you define a woman?
If you're looking for, you mentioned some court cases, the bus stock.
Well, I didn't ask about the court cases. Before you get to the court cases, what is a woman?
You have men, you have women. I mean, if you don't know, I can't help you.
Well, I know. It's a biological human female. I was asking if you know.
Well, what's a female?
Well, a female
Well,
is...
in the months following the Bostock decision, 2 appellate courts have reached the same conclusion, citing that case in their holdings that Title IX protects transgender students from discrimination on the basis of gender identity. I think that's the important, if you're talking about court cases, I think that's the important aspect.
Is a man that identifies as a female a woman?
I'd say that it's transgender.
If a man identifies as a female, is that a woman?
I think it's a transgender woman.
Is it a woman? Is it a biological human female?
I don't know what difference that makes.
Chairwoman Fox, would you care to answer?
I believe that a woman has distinct chromosomes, a man has distinct chromosomes, and that's how you distinguish between a man and a woman. And I think we know what women are and what men are based on their chromosomes.
It's kind of hard to believe that we have...
Now, this is in 2024. This is going back all the way to 2024. And it's only a certain type of people that will go to the science and answer this question. Everybody else will act like somebody just dropped a stink bomb in the room. They be like, this is how much they got you trained here in America, boy. You think you're free, but you're trained. They done trained you at this job. They done trained you through your company policy and the money that they take from you. And anybody that go against that, and you don't even got to be going against it. I'm not going against nothing. I'm just pointing out that Royce White should be able to play based on everybody what they've been saying. The reason why I think Royisha and Royce, I mean not Royce, but Enos should be able to play based on what they've been doing. This is 2 years ago, and they couldn't define what a woman is. So if you can't define what a woman is, how are you trying to protect the sport that said they love transgenders? These are transgender women. Let the girls play. I just don't understand.
have to have this conversation in the halls of Congress about what is a woman, and there are differences between men and women. And we do know there are differences between men and women, and we know it is particularly evident in the playing of sports. And Mr. Norman and others have referenced some of the injuries that have happened to female athletes in competing against biological males. So Chairwoman Fox, I just want to thank
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Title IX was a landmark civil rights law. It helped.
Now, this is way back in 2023, but this ain't no big problem though. This 3 years ago now, but this ain't no big problem. This Enos Cantor is just being a bully. He's being a jerk. He just is trying to oppress the women. Now watch, who really trying to oppress women? They can't even tell you what the hell a woman is, but talking about they trying to protect women. It's weird.
Create the incredible breadth of women's sports and girls' sports that we see across the country. I believe in girls' sports. I believe in women's sports. I'm the proud father of 2 daughters who are both athletes. I think participating in competitive sports is a wonderful thing for a young girl. I think it is a wonderful thing for a woman. And I think, unfortunately, today's Democrat Party has decided that women's sports and girls' sports no longer matters. And they're willing to push radical legislation designed to destroy girls' sports and women's sports. Ms. Gaines, I want to thank you for your courage. You are relatively young, but you have demonstrated incredible courage. And because you have dared to speak up, you have been demonized, you have been vilified. I saw when you were attacked by a leftist mob at San Francisco State University for daring to speak up. You had an incredible record as a swimmer at the University of Kentucky. You were a 2-time NCAA All-American. You were a 5-time SEC champion. You're an SEC record holder and a 2-time Olympic trial qualifier. But yet on March 27th, 2022, something changed. What happened on March 17th, 2022?
That's when Thomas and I raced in the 200 freestyle and again resulted in a tie.
And so you tied. What was the consequence of tying?
We went behind the awards podium where typically you're handed your trophy, you're marched out, you're named an All-American. And so we go back there and the official looks at both Thomas and myself and says, great job, but you guys tied. And we only have 1 trophy. Therefore, we're giving this trophy to Leah. And I question this and I say, why? And at first I shortened it in my testimony, but really he stumbled on his words. He didn't know how to answer this. And at first he's, well, we're just doing this in chronological order. To which I further pressed and I said, okay, well, what are you being chronological about? Because we tied. And if we're doing this off alphabetical order, G comes before T. So what are you being chronological about? To which this wasn't a script they had prepared for him. And he actually appreciated his honesty. He did say, we have to give the trophy for Leah because Leah has to have it for pictures. They've made that clear. Leah has to have the trophy for pictures. You can pose with.
She has to have it for pictures. What does that sound like to you guys? But I'm not judging. But this is 3 years ago where a young woman raced against a biological man and they gave it to the biological man, the pictures.
This trophy, but you have to give yours back. You have to go home empty-handed. Leah Thomas takes the trophy home. End of story.
Now, let me ask you, as someone who's competed at the elite level, in your experience, is there a difference between women and men?
Of course. I think we learned this at a very young age, watching even 12 and unders play. Going through puberty causes irreversible advantage that no matter the training, no matter the diet, no matter any alterable change you can make will overcome that male advantage.
It dang sure do, boy. I had to get beat up before I understood I wasn't the biggest dog in the yard. Ooh. When I went through puberty, I'm like, ooh, I can whip everybody. I can do everything. You can't describe it. I had to get my behind kicked in order to realize, like, oh, okay, well, something happened to me, but I'm still human. Got my behind kicked, and now I understand that, hey, okay. But yeah, I'm still this, though. But yeah, it's a lot going on, and I don't think people understand it. I'll bring you up in a minute, Uncle Charles. I want to get to this first.
Especially in sports like swimming, where lung capacity matters so much. Even something as silly as throat size, men have on average a 40% larger throat, which sounds like it's nothing. But when you're grasping for air, that 40% larger throat makes a huge difference in athletic success, not to mention height. You guys know the differences.
Ms. Robinson, do you agree with Ms. Gaines that there's a difference between women and men?
If the question is about trans women,
I'm just asking, is there a difference between women and men?
what I can say is that the NCAA has rules in place. They've had rules in place for the last decade, and when this competition
Okay, I'm
happened,
going to try
the
again.
rules were clear.
Do you believe there's a difference between women and men? It's a yes, no.
Do you guys see how hard is it to answer these simple questions? Is there a difference between a woman and a man? Is there a difference? They can't answer it. Three different occasions. Simple question.
Difference between women and men?
If the question is about trans women,
I'm just asking, is there a difference between women and men?
what I can say is that the NCAA has rules in place. They've had rules in place for the last decade, and when this competition
Okay, I'm
happened,
going to try
the
again.
rules were clear.
Do you believe there's a difference between women and men? It's a yes, no question. Do you believe there's a difference?
Oh, I think that we're talking about this case with the NCAA.
No, I'm asking a question. Do you believe there's a difference between women and men? Most people could answer this very simply. I'm curious if you're willing to do so.
Oh, absolutely. I'm just putting it into the context of the
Is that a yes?
conversation that we're having. I think that there are definitions related to sex.
Is
but I
that a
also
yes?
think
So I'm
that
trying to
when
get a yes or no. I'm not trying to get a speech.
we're-
Is there a difference between women and men?
I think that there are definitions for biological sex.
Okay, so you're
which
not
is
answering
different
that.
than
Let me ask
gender.
you this question then. Why do women's sports exist? If you can't define a difference between women and men, why not abolish women's sports and just tell little girls to swim with little boys and see who wins?
Oh, I'm simply saying that that sex is
My
different
question,
than gender. And
why
I
do-
do believe
why
that
do
women's
women's
sports
sports
have a great
exist?
value. I mean, Senator, I'll tell you right
Ms.
now.
Robinson, please answer the question I'm asking you.
Absolutely.
Why do women's sports exist?
I think that there are so many positive benefits to sports.
But
I mean,
why have a
we've talked
separate
about it here
category for
today.
women? If there's no difference between women and men, why to have women's sports?
I'm saying that there's a difference between sex and gender.
Hey, yo, KB, I'm scared. You scared? You better be. Because they won't answer this question. This is crazy, man. This was 3 years ago, though. But this ain't no problem. You wonder why Enos Canada them are doing what they're doing.
And that the NCAA has rules in place, which they have for the
So,
last decade.
Mr.
which
Chairman, I
determine
would
that
like to enter into
related
the
to
record an
participation.
article from Duke Law called Comparing Athletic Performances for the Best Elite Women to Boys and Men. And it goes through examining in 2017 the top records for women in the world in various track and field events. So, for example, in the 100 meter, the top record for women in the world was 10.71 seconds. Now, that record for the number one woman in the world in 2017 was in the year 2017 broken by 124 boys under 18. In that same year, the record for the number one competing woman in the 100 meter dash in the world was broken by a total of 2,474 men. If the radical Democrat agenda to destroy girls' sports and women's sports succeeds, little girls will not have a chance to compete. So I ask unanimous consent that this article be entered into the record.
2,000 boys broke one of the girls' record. God, dog. 2,000 girls.
Senator Hall.
Jesus Christ. This is January 14, 2026.
Hawley, I think it's science-based by the way that men can't have babies, but that's going to be something. Senator Hawley, don't worry about it. Senator Hawley, that was it. Senator Moody.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Since you bring it up, why don't we just start there? Dr. Verma, I wasn't sure I understood your answer to Senator Moody a moment ago. Do you think that men can get pregnant?
I hasn't. I wasn't sure I understood your answer to Senator Moody a moment ago. Do you think that men can get pregnant? I hasn't. I wasn't sure I understood your answer to Senator Moody a moment ago. Do you think that men can get pregnant?
I hesitated there because I wasn't sure where the conversation was going or what the goal was. I mean, I do take care of patients with different identities. I take care of many women. I take care of people with different identities. And so that's where I paused. I think
Wait a minute. Oh, ma'am. I know you're a doctor, ma'am. You way smarter than me, but somehow I'm thinking you slow right now. He asked you, can a man get pregnant? What are you doing all this talking for? Why isn't the answer no right away? I don't understand what's going on. And then they get mad at Enos Cantor instead of being able to understand that this is going on across the world in hearings. It's like, am I hearing this question right? Because I can answer this. Let's hear this question one more again. Let's see if anybody's having problems with this question.
It's science-based by the way that men can't have babies, but that's going to be something. Senator Hawley, don't worry about it. Senator Hawley, that was it. Senator Moody.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Since you bring it up, why don't we just start there? Dr. Verma, I wasn't sure I understood your answer to Senator Moody a moment ago. Do you think that men can get pregnant?
I hesitated there because I wasn't sure where the conversation was going or what the goal was. I mean, I do take care of patients with different identities. I take care of many women. I take care of people with different identities. And so that's where I paused. I think, yeah, I wasn't sure where you were going with that.
Well, the goal is just the truth. So can men get pregnant?
Again, the reason I paused there is I'm not really sure what the goal of the
The
question
goal is just to establish a biological reality. You just said a moment ago that science and evidence should control, not politics. So let's just test that proposition. Can men get pregnant?
I take care of people.
Can a man get pregnant? I take care of people. I take care of all genders, spaces, and places. And I like frogs, and I like grass too, and I like marijuana. Yeah, I take care of a dog named Order. Can a man get pregnant? Oh, I take care of plants. I plant tomatoes. Yeah, I take care of all kind of people. Like, what is going on? He's like, I like cheese. I like cheese and broccoli. I like butter on my broccoli. She went from a doctor to a dude. What is going on? Jesus. But this ain't no big deal. Enos Cantor is just being a bully. Why is Enos Cantor and Roisha bullying people? Well, you got doctors got them answering questions like this.
So can men get pregnant?
Again, the reason I paused there is I'm not really sure what the goal of the
The
question
goal is just to establish a biological reality. You just said a moment ago.
Hey, I'm gonna start doing that, boy. You better ask me nothing no more on YouTube. I just want to know what's the goal of this question. That's a good one. Before I even answer the question, let me ask you a question. Every time I'm gonna just ask you a question. Miss Collins asked me something. Miss Collins, what's the goal of that question? I think that is a brilliant way to never answer shit. Basically, why I stumble right here is because I stumble because you're doing too much. And I want to know the goal of your question. Because if the goal of your question is I'm going to turn into a victim, to harm, malign, hurt, or marginalize a group, then you're just a pig and I'm not going to answer your question. And this is how conversations go in 2026. This is the new form of communicating. It is to never answer a question. It's to never clearly define anything, because confusion is the best thing. And it's turn into a victim, put out there what it is you think the person is doing. They don't got to say a word. You'll qualify your own statement, and then you just drop the mic. That's the new thing. Where are you going with questioning me like this? Like, what is your goal? Because I'm not finna harm nobody. You're like, harm? What the hell are you talking about? Harming somebody? What is a woman? Can a man have a baby? This is a yes or no. You supposed to be a gynecologist. You can't even ask a gynecologist. Somebody who studied the JJ, what is a woman? They gonna say, huh? What do you mean? This is crazy.
That science and evidence should control, not politics. So let's just test that proposition. Can men get pregnant?
I take care of people with many identities, but
Can men get
I take care
pregnant?
of many women that can get pregnant. I do take care of people that don't identify as women. That
Can men get pregnant?
again, as I'm saying,
Let me just remind you, you testified to a moment ago. Science and evidence should control, not politics. So can men get pregnant? You're a
totally
doctor, I
agree.
think.
Science and evidence should guide medicine.
Do science and evidence tell us that men can get pregnant? Biological men, can they get pregnant?
I also think yes/no questions like this are a political tool. And
No, yes, no questions are about the truth, doctor. Let's not make a mockery of this proceeding. This is about science and evidence. So I'm asking you, the United States Supreme Court just heard arguments yesterday at great length on this question. This is not a hypothetical question. This is not theoretical. It affects real people in their real lives. And you're here as an expert called by the others.
Everybody playing like this is a joke when they meeting in Congress about this shit. Sorry, YouTube. This is not a game. This is no joke. They are meeting in Congress about what is a woman. And Congress can't tell you what a woman is. A doctor can't tell you what a woman is. Nobody can tell you what a woman is. And Enos Cantor showed up with that shirt on, and every news station you heard of was on the go along, get along game. And they said it was a provocative shirt because they do not want to define what a woman is, because history is being rewritten right in front of your goddamn own face. And you can pretend like it ain't happening all you want to. But this has been going on for years. All right?
Can they get pregnant?
I also think yes, no questions like this are a political tool. And
No, yes, no questions are about the truth, doctor. Let's not make a mockery of this proceeding. This is about science and evidence. And I'm asking you, the United States Supreme Court just heard arguments yesterday at great length on this question. This is not a hypothetical question. This is not theoretical. It affects real people in their real lives. And you're here as an expert, called by the other side as an expert. And you've been telling us that you follow, right, you're a doctor, and you follow the science and the evidence. So I just want to know, based on the science, can men get pregnant? That's a yes or no question. It really is, I think.
I think you're trying to reduce the complexity of a lot.
I'm not.
I told you. Look at her. Look at her. You did something wrong by asking me a question. I think you trying to belittle me. I think they start an argument every time. This is the new form of communication. It's saying that somebody is doing something offensive so that you don't have to even qualify their statement. This is I said this to y'all 4 years ago. I said people haven't had a real conversation in years. They just call you a name, they put an ism in front of it, and you guys are seeing this in real time. A doggone doctor cannot even tell you what a woman is. She keeps trying to argue with the person that's asking the yes or no question. Something is changing. And I'm sorry that so many people saying, I don't want to see it. I don't care. It costs too much to deal with it. I don't care. I don't even want to ask questions about it. I'm not trying to be disrespectful or malicious to nobody, but I do want to know, why is it so offensive to define what a woman is? I don't understand. Whatever you identify as, you had a mama. So a woman is your mama. Whether you like it or not, a woman is your mama. We all had a mama. And it's a shame that some people hate their mama, must be, because they can't even define what a woman is. And this has been going on for years. And now the NBA is enthralled in some political battle that's going to get them sued. They planned the media game trying to demonize Royce White and them. But I knew from the get-go exactly where Royce White and them got this ideal from. And I said, oh, Lord. They did it to themselves. You've been playing this game, what a woman is. People in gyms been getting thrown out because they have objected to this. All this stuff, restaurants, businesses are being held hostage because they don't know what to do in this situation, because you keep saying that these people are women. And if you're going to say that they're women, you can't discriminate. So that's an automatic lawsuit. And the world is being held hostage by this thing because nobody wants to define what a woman is. So that's why they're going to demonize Royce White and anybody who talk about it. They're not even going to monetize this video because they're going to say, no, ads don't want to deal with it, because nobody wants to have this conversation. Not even doctors. Over here, it's a group on the internet in this little small sector. There's a group on the internet that act like they was about the facts and evidence until we pulled up the facts and evidence and they changed the goalposts. Same thing these doctors are doing.
Science and the evidence. So I just want to know, based on the science, can men get pregnant? That's a yes or no question. It really is, I think.
I think you're trying to reduce the complexity of a lot.
I'm not. I'm trying to get, it's not complex. I'm trying to get to an answer, and I'm trying to test, frankly, your veracity as a medical professional and as a scientist. Can men get pregnant?
I think you're also conflating
This is
male
extraordinary.
female with.
No, I'm not conflating male and female. They're two different things. There's biological men and there's biological women. And
notice how he calmed her down every time. No, I'm not doing this thing that you're trying to say I'm doing. I'm actually doing this. No, I'm not doing this thing that you're saying I'm doing. I'm doing this. And every time she's accusing him of something, it's so complex. I can't talk about this. And you got every media talking head now demonizing Enos Kanter because maybe they don't know about this. Maybe they get high, but they don't watch nothing but sports. Because this has been going on. If you say you a man and you got a daughter, why wait till you're in front of a bathroom and want to give fisticuffs instead of saying, no. Any legislation that's playing this game right here, I'm going to vote against that, because we ain't having no goddamn males in no bathroom showering with my daughter, because that's going to make me have to lose it. And then I ain't going to be able to be around my daughter. So you can't let it get to that point. Men got to step up and say what it is, or get people to say what it is right now. Or how are you going to ever be able to protect your daughter? Crashing out, going to prison, that protects your daughter? No, it doesn't. Protecting your kid is now. Hearing the information and saying what works for me, what would I like in my real life? How would I feel if I'm a parent with a 6-year-old girl and somebody in a dress talking about, yeah, I'm a girl, can go in the bathroom with your child? You like, okay, honey, go in there with, yeah, go on in there. No. Let's say something now or shut the hell up. They done open up a whole new can of worms and not prepared for the reality. No, they're not prepared for the reality, Kenneth. But they done bullied so many people into not being able to, not wanting to even talk about it. I don't feel like you can't talk about anything. You should be able to talk about, okay, what it is. How is this going to affect men and women in society in real life? Is this going to make women actually comfortable when they really have to go through this? Let's put things to the test. Let's not just shout about things on Twitter. I'm so sick of the Twitter people. They shouting out Black Lives Matter, shouting out this. If this is what you really want, let's put it to the test. If you want males in your spaces at the gym, then we should let these men go into the showers with you at the gyms and see how you like it. Come on with it. I'm tired of the talking and the pretending. Because when I watch these things, when I'm smoking my stuff, and I'm sitting back and I'm like, wait a god dang on minute here. And I'm hearing a doctor get asked simple questions and she can't answer that question. I'll be like, something is happening. What the hell is going on here? Why can't nobody answer this question? So then I put it out. And then I really think about it. And I'm like, damn, when you think about it without that smoke, it make you scared. It'd be like, oh, Lord. And men, they done tampered men down so much, we won't say nothing. Especially if you're a black man. You only got to say what your woman say. And most of these black men, you got to get behind a black woman to be liked and accepted and not talk and praise your woman. And that's the only likable black man. A black man that talks strong or move his own way and try to control things. Oh, he aggressive, misogynistic, toxic, bad. And boy, if he get a white woman, he'll sell out. But everybody else, if they get a white man, then they done came up. If they get a white woman, boy, they came up like a mother truck. We like everybody that got a white man on that other side. Everybody, you get a white man, you get a white man. The more the ones that complain about white men the most, they lay with white men, boy. I showed up. They get white women or white men, and they love for it. But Brandon Tatum is a coon. He's a sellout. Kataji Brown getting kissed on top of the head like a puppy. But let's praise her as the first black woman, but she can't even tell you what the hell a woman is. Like it's all a game. I just be sitting back. I'm like, man, I gotta smoke one because this shit driving me crazy. We praising somebody for being the first black woman that can't even tell you what a woman is. I just think that's kind of crazy. I think that's kind of crazy. I don't know. Either I'm crazy or that's kind of crazy. And I can't tell the difference no more. Because everybody look at you like you just stepped on some plutonium when you say the obvious. I'm like, what the hell you looking at me like that for? You don't see it? They just be looking at you like, oh, shit. Oh, shit. We got to stay away from this nigga. It don't matter how much they rock with you. They be like, uh-oh. He talking about something that the world finna shake up about. Can't talk to him. Yeah, boy, we got to leave. I like Kwame, but we can't talk to him. They be looking at you from the side. It's like if somebody watch them like you, then they gonna get in trouble. So they be like, don't come over here. Don't. What you know with? I be sitting there like, damn. You know, what is going on here, buddy? Jesus.
I want to know, can men get pregnant?
What you were talking about is biological.
You're not going to answer my question.
Biological males.
This isn't hard, doctor. Can men get pregnant? Yes or no?
I would be more than happy to have a conversation with you that is not coming from a place of trying to be polarized and push.
I'm not trying to be polarizing. I'm trying to ask. I think it is extraordinary that we are here and hearing.
How did she automatically know he trying to be polarizing? He done told her 3 times. I'm just trying to get a direct answer based on science, which you said you were about. Can a biological, and then he proceeded to ask you a scientific question, and you keep giving him another thing that he's doing that he just explained that he's not doing. Man, she making me want to light up. These are the conversations that I've been watching that made me understand that Enos Cantor and Roisha are American heroes because they want you to prove it. You want transgender, then damn it, here you go. We two ladies. If you don't want it, then you got to tell me what a woman is. One of the two. Define it. Because they ain't been defining it.
About science and about women. And for the record, it's women who get pregnant, not men. We are here about the safety of women and science that shows that this abortion drug causes adverse health events in 11% of cases. That's 22 times greater than the FDA label, another fact you haven't acknowledged. And yet you won't even acknowledge the basic reality that biological men don't get pregnant. There's a difference between biological men and biological women. I don't know how we can take you seriously and your claims to be a person of science if you won't level with this on this basic issue.
Hey, bro, y'all must thought I was lying 4 years ago when I said people haven't had real conversations. They just accuse you of something or label you something. I'm telling you, you got to start watching things that's outside of your box. I don't just sit here and listen to information that people tell me. I look at these things and I be like, what in the heck? I don't care if you're a normal person, you think you're a celebrity, whatever you are, you know you got a mama. You know exactly what a woman is. You got aunties, you got daughters, you know exactly what a woman is. What is making you so afraid to say what a woman is? I think you know. I think you know. This ain't no complex question. These people are changing something, and they want to change it right up under your nose. See, they're getting you fat for the slaughter. They want to change it right up under your nose, and you don't even know what's coming. But you know what's coming. You just scared. I understand how they scared you through jobs, pressure. They're everywhere. But you better start saying something.
I thought we were past all of this, frankly. I can't believe we're still here talking about this.
I am a person of science, and I'm also someone here who's here to represent the complex experiences of my patients. And I don't think polarized language or questions serve that goal. I don't think they serve the American people.
It is not polarizing to say that there is a scientific difference between men and women. And I want this to be clear and for the record. It is not polarizing to say that women are a biological reality and should be treated and protected as such. That is not polarizing. That is truth. It is also, by the way, the United States Constitution, which offers unique protections to women in a variety of circumstances as women. And your refusal to recognize women as women and men as men is deeply corrosive to science, to public trust.
And that's why this is so important. Our Constitution has certain protections for women and women only. Do you not know that white men would not allow women the right to vote? And then black women stepped in, as y'all do, and y'all don't take no for an answer. So women got the right to vote. Women. And it's in there. So if you're not going to define what a woman is, you can shake up a lot of different things. There's certain laws that protect women. And so now you're going to afford that right to a man that feels like a woman. Men are going to be able to get women's scholarships. Men are going to be able to get WIC now, because I'm going to just say, don't let me have another kid. I'm going to say I'm a woman. I want SNAP benefits, because men go to jail for having kids and they can't pay for it. Women get SNAP benefits and housing. So you got to be able to define what a woman is, because of the constitutional protections that women specifically have. And it's crazy that we can't do that. I love this type of content, not the effery. Let's go. Salute Hip Hop Daily, Hip Hop Business Daily. Appreciate that. Yeah, because they don't want this type of content. It's going to be a yellow stripe around it. They're going to say no ads ran, because they don't want to have this conversation. They want people to demonize Enes Cantor and act like, why would a man try to play with a woman? As if they haven't been having this conversation in Congress and every day. This thing go back year after year after year. They've been having this conversation.
And yes, to constitutional protections for women as women. And I think it's extraordinary that you would sit here and advance a political agenda that has been thoroughly discredited and rejected by the American people in this forum. And I'm glad we had this exchange because it is exceptionally clarifying. It is also in many ways.
He said, I'm glad we had this exchange because it's exceptionally clarifying. Now, it's so crazy. It is so crazy. Like, people have been acting like this ain't been going on, though. And it's crazy to me that it seems like us black folks are always late to the party. And then we just come in with the violence. Nigga, if somebody come around my door, I'm gonna hit you in the eye. It's like you gonna hit him in the eye. It's too late then, boy. You're gonna do 30 years for that hit in the eye. I don't know about you, but can we just talk? We gotta talk. We can talk about it now, so we don't have to do 30 years. Stupid motherfucker. You want to do 30 years, just go do 30 years. But I think you should be knowing what's going on and seeing what's going on, because there's another option than to do 30 years. This is 3 years ago.
Senator Kennedy. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thanks to all of our witnesses here today. Ms. Robinson, I want to follow up by trying to understand your answer to one of Senator Cruz's questions. And if this is really a question, not a suggestion. Do I understand your position to be that there are two sexes, but there can be more than two genders?
I wouldn't even say two, and we've got Dr. Lopez here as well, but there's also the definition of intersex. I think that often in these conversations we're conflating sex and gender, and I do want to affirm here that trans women are women. That is their gender.
Okay, but I'm trying to understand.
Set the tone. 100 gifted 5 Kwame Brown Bus Life membership. Salute to you, bro.
Do you make a distinction between sex and gender?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Explain that. Just, do you think there are more than two sexes?
I believe that there's a definition for intersex as well that I want to acknowledge. But sex is assigned at birth.
I'm just trying to understand. I'm thoroughly confused. So you're born, I'm talking about biology, male, female, and what else?
I believe that intersex is also acknowledged. But again, I'm not a doctor here. What I can
And what
say
does intersex mean?
is that there's a difference between sex and gender. And I think in these conversations, we're conflating the two.
Well, but I want to start with sex. Okay, there's male, there's female. When a baby's born, before the baby has had time to even have a sense of self, there's male, female, and intersex. There's a third sex.
I believe that is true, but I would defer to Dr. Lopez as I'm not a physician.
Okay. And how many genders are there?
I think the gender is expansive and the definitions are always growing. Today I can tell you, I
More
talk to
than
young
five?
people
More
that
than-
talk about non-binary as
More than 5?
I think the gender is not a binary is what I'm trying
But
to say.
are there more than 5 genders? I'm just trying to understand. Are there more than 5 genders?
Well, I mean, I think that there was a time where women wearing pants didn't feel like it was appropriate for their gender, and yet I'm wearing pants today.
If
I
you
think
could
that there are
just
ways
answer
that
my
we
question.
express
Are
our
there
gender
more
that
than
are
5
expansive.
genders?
This is crazy that you can't even ask questions that you can get a clear understanding of what the heck is going on. And this is why the world has not been able to communicate properly in years. People just yell at you. They call you a name. They go crazy on you. And you got to stop allowing that. You got to stop allowing people to sound like they cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. If you have a if you have a set of thoughts and ideals, they should be challenged in an open forum, and you should be able to make sense on what you're saying. It should not be all this mumbo jumbo if you actually believe in what you're saying.
Are there more than 5?
I wouldn't subject myself to naming how many genders there are, but what I can say is
there
that
an
gender is a
infinite number?
reflection. Excuse me?
There's an infinite number of genders?
I think depending on your culture, there are a lot of different genders that exist. And I can also say that it's a term that's evolving. If you look at young people today, they really don't lean into the binary of only woman and man. So I think that it's incumbent upon us not to legislate on this, but create space for them to explore what their identities are, what their gender identities are.
let's get back to athletics. I think I understand what you're saying. There are three sexes: male, female, and intersex.
I believe that to be true, but again, I'm not a physician.
And
so-
there are an infinite number of genders because gender is a mental state.
Gender is about expression, and I think that there are a variety of ways that you can express your gender.
Okay, so there's infinite number. All right, let's go back to the biology. Male, female, boy, girl. Okay, biologically, do males have an advantage over females biologically in sports?
Again, I'm not a physician, and I can't speak to that.
What's your real world experience?
It depends. I mean, there are some people who are born male that I'm faster than if I were to sprint against them, and some that I'm not. Some
But-
males
so
that are
you don't
taller than
believe
some
that-
women,
you
and
don't
some that are
believe-
short.
Yes, that's true, but that's not answering the question. All of the males that's going to be actual sprinters, if you're a sprinter, are going to be probably faster than you. Yeah, you could take a guy off the street and kick his behind, and if that's what you think you're going to make a point by doing, then that's really no point. But the people that's actually in the field that you're talking about, the last guy will probably kick your behind. I'm just saying. Oh, I almost forgot. The Eyeball Network wants to link up with you. You did a reaction to his video earlier this week. Okay. I have to go on his page and check it out. Yeah, this is crazy, man. This lady says there are some men that she can beat in sprinting. So that's what you're going to base your whole argument off? That there's a man that you can find that you could beat in sprinting. So then let all little boys sprint against girls based on that thought process. Because that's going to end up bad for you. Based on that logic, that's going to end up horrible. Marlon Field, salute. That don't even make sense. Mercy T says, salute to the content. Appreciate it, because they dang sure ain't going to monetize this at all. I'm going to tell you that now. This is not monetized content. No ads are going to be ran on this bad boy. But this is crazy work.
That a biological male has a physical advantage in sports over a biological female?
Not as a definitive statement.
Give me an example. Well, no, I don't think. How many female members of the NBA do you see?
Well, I can say that, there's been this news article about men that think that they could beat Serena Williams in tennis, right? That they think that they could actually score a point on her. And it's just not the case. She is stronger than that.
What's your experience, Ben? Male, female.
Both Serena and Venus lost to
Is strong in tennis, right? That they think that they could actually score a point on her. And it's just not the case. She is stronger than that.
What's your experience?
Ma'am, you must don't understand what Serena said about other tennis players. She said that like one of the last guys could beat her. Like, you don't like, oh my goodness. So why can't we let the girls play? This is my thing. If a woman can testify to this in Congress and they sound like this in Congress, then what is the issue? And you notice they only talk about women facing weaker vessel type of men and beating them. They don't want to see what it's like. Based on their own logic, Enos Kanter is a woman, a lesbian woman, and he wants to play. Based on her logic, he is a woman and he should be able to play. What is the issue? She doesn't believe a male is stronger than a female anyway. And she believed that Serena Williams is the baddest chick. So let's do it. Why can't they let the girls play? And this was 3 years ago.
Experience, Ben? Male, female.
Both Serena and Venus lost to the 203rd ranked male tennis player, which they're phenoms for women. My experience, my husband, he swam at University of Kentucky as well, tennis player.
Ben? Male, female.
Both Serena and Venus lost to the 203rd ranked male tennis player, which they're
Okay, they lost to the 200, both Serena and Venus lost to the 203rd ranked male. 200, imagine that. The best woman, the best two women they got, lost to a man that's 203rd amongst men. Do you know how many men going to be in the WNBA soon? It's about 200 or something per team. This is absolutely insane. Golly. 203rd.
Male, female.
Both Serena and Venus lost to the 203rd ranked male tennis player, which they're phenoms for women. My experience, my husband, he swam at University of Kentucky as well. In terms of accolades and in terms of national ranking, I was a much better swimmer than him. He could kick my butt any day of the week without trying.
Okay. I just think, Ms. Robinson, I'm trying to understand where you're coming from. I think you lose a lot of credibility.
Kwame, they celebrated Caitlyn Jenner. Let Enos play and let's see what happened. Check ball, pun intended. Yeah, check the ball up. I want to see too. Let Enos air Roisha. I'm tired of all this talking. Let's see it. Let the woman play. Let the girls play. They've been saying all this stuff. Rally Gaines has been trying to tell them. They've been dissing this woman for 3-4 years. Let these girls play and let's see what happens. They can't hide for the truth. Let's see it.
When you don't concede that a biological male has physical advantages over a biological female, I mean, I just think that's a proven fact, and you really hurt your credibility. I understand you want the world to be a better place. I do too, and I don't think people ought to be discriminated against because of an immutable characteristic. I don't. And I think that I think everybody ought to be free to be themselves. And what you do in your bedroom or what I do in my bedroom with a consenting adult is nobody's business. But if what I do in my bedroom with a consenting adult, if I decide I want to tell somebody's child about it, then other people have rights too. And I think parents have rights. And I think biological females have rights to be able to compete fairly in sport, in sports. So I really think you hurt your credibility when you refuse to acknowledge that biological males have an advantage over biological females. It kind of makes me wonder about all your testimony. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
What I'm trying to say is that there is not a definitive advantage in all cases. Sir, I don't know if you believe that you could beat Serena Williams in tennis, but I probably think that that's not the case. There are not all cases where all men are physically superior to all women. And at the end of the day, in this conversation, we're not talking about that. We're talking about trans women who are, in fact, women, who deserve to play in a gender that matches their sports, who deserve all the benefits that Ms. Gaines is talking about. And as a cisgender Black woman, I can say definitively that my womanhood is not threatened by a transgender person asserting hers as well.
Senator Hirono.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I thank all of the persons who are testifying today. For Ms. Robinson.
So as y'all can see, this has been going back year after year. So to pretend like, you know, this is not a thing, it's just crazy to me. Oh, let me go back. Yeah, so to pretend like this wasn't a thing, it's just crazy to me. And the way that people are covering it is also crazy to me because this has been a thing.
They got a great academics. They got a great football team. But then you also say, look, be careful in the neighborhood. Be careful on the way to school. You know what you got to go through to get there. It's one of those. That's what this looked like from the outside, at least.
I did not cross over the baseline or sideline, and we're not allowed to touch any players, obviously, the fans. So I didn't break any rules. So for them to come out and throw me out of the game and literally, you know, they said his actions was equal to shooting a gun. I just cannot believe it. I don't know who is this PR person, but they're doing a terrible job. So we might be looking into a lawsuit for sure because this is unacceptable. And this is not.
You hear that? Lawsuit.
What a sportsmanship look like. Natasha Colat should be the one that's thrown out of the game or get fined. We wrote to you know, Commissioner and the task force. We are waiting for them to hear back, but this is just unacceptable. This is not what a sportsmanship look like. So we'll just wait to see what happens. I did not.
Wait to see what happens. So this is the version, the public version of a demand letter. Basically, he's basically saying, look, if y'all don't adjust, if y'all don't change your tune, if y'all don't apologize, y'all don't clarify, something coming your way. That's what. If you guys never received a demand letter, and look, when I was an itty bitty and growing up and in college, I never got one. Demand letters come when you got some money. You all of a sudden somebody be like, yeah, I demand you. You know you did me wrong, but you were broke before, so I ain't demanding nothing. But now you got some money, I'm demanding you give me some money, or else I'm gonna tell the world. And that's where they are right now. He about to talk that talk. So we're gonna find that letter.
And we'll see if they have a legal basis. And I think they do, based on discrimination.
We also gonna hear him talk a little bit more on the whole conversation of let's give him a little more on that convo right there. This is gangster. All right, here we go. Keep going, Enos. You putting pressure on him, you know it.
The WNBA told you or got in contact with you was they were reporting that sources were telling them that in fact you are not going to be eligible for the draft next year. Have you heard anything official?
No, please do not believe those news because they're all fake news. The NBA commissioner or the task force or the WNBA itself did not contact with us, or we didn't hear anything official. Listen, I'm a peacemaker. I'm not a troublemaker, and I'm a very easy person to deal with. If they ever have, some kind of issue, please come and talk to me. And listen, we're not asking anything difficult. All we're asking is Article 13, right? Section 1 says if you identify as a woman, you're allowed to play. So if tomorrow they can come up and add the word biological next to the female, I will drop everything immediately. But till then, I am allowed to play.
So who is being the one that's hard to deal with? If you don't want Enos Canada to play, look at what he just said. All you have to do is put biological by the female, and this is what Charles Barkley said. Put biological by the male or the female, and then that's what the WNBA is for. He goes away, Roisha goes away. They won't do it. Why won't they do it? Why won't they do it? The man has done said this. This was two days ago. Why won't they simply say the WNBA is for biological males? Just saying.
I should be playing, and I will be getting ready for the 2027 WNBA draft.
Did you hear that? This is when there's so much ego in the room, especially from the WNBA, because they made this problem. They could have easily just came out and said, okay, let's just clarify, redefine, let's just get this out the way. But instead, they're trying to act like they're so inclusive, and they know they ain't. They just don't want to be punked. They don't want to be exposed into forcing them to do it. You ever been there? When you know the other person, you're arguing, then bam, you're like, yo, they right. I know they right. But I ain't going to say nothing. I ain't going to let them know they right. I'm going to keep arguing. And then later, I'm going to go quietly and think about it, then come back and be like, you know what? My bad. Or more importantly, most people don't even say my bad or I'm sorry. They come back and they just act different. They do exactly what they were arguing against. That person was telling you, man, you need to just pay attention more when you're driving, dog. You need to pay attention more. Man, what do you mean? We ain't got no accident. We ain't getting no accident. We ain't never been no accident. I ain't never got pulled over. You saying all this stuff. Then you go back. Then you know what you do? Next time you're in the car with them, you ain't even apologizing. You just riding. You're paying more attention. We all got that ego, that stubbornness. We all got that. We all got that. Right? But that's what the WNBA is right now. They are so damn stubborn that they really gonna get sued, y'all. This ain't no joke. And I'm for
They really are about to get sued because they do not want to define what a woman is. Kwame Brown gonna fight for men every time. Actually, this is a fight for women. If they keep this up, the WNBA will be the new NBA. There will be two NBAs because I cannot fathom a guy in the G League that's going to stay there in the G League making $42,000 a year when the lowest paid WNBA player is making $500,000 and the highest paid is making $1.4 million. I think it's a lot of G League players and guys that's coming out of college that will just say, hey, I identify and go make $1.4 million. Sorry. I mean, you don't think it would happen? It will happen.
for him. I think it's a noble cause. He's doing my work. He's doing the work that I want someone to do so my daughter can have her opportunities. If daughter, I got two little ones left.
Salute, cuz. Appreciate that.
Found the coach. We found the coach. Now I don't know if I got the players, but I got some 99 percentiles. I got a big girl. So it's just like, come on, y'all. What we doing? Better not answer that one. That is a setup NBA. A certain guy game in NBA. Yep. Okay, let's read it. Let's read this letter. Let's get smart. Enos Cantor Freedom has sent a letter to WNBA Commissioner Kathy Engelbert requesting answers to 5 questions after his ejection from the Fever Sky game and ban from the arena.
Salute. Respect to the bus and bus life. My donation, cuz my life is dirt as well. Salute, player. Salute, salute. I appreciate that. But listen, Enos Cannon Freedom sent demand letters. Here we go.
Identify the policy, the rule, directive, or instruction relied upon in treating certain spectators, including me, differently when we express a viewpoint that appears unpopular with the WNBA. You better not answer that one. That is a setup. That is a landmine. You will get sued quicker. 2, identify whether the decision to eject me was made or requested by WNBA personnel, Chicago Sky personnel, Wintrust Arena personnel, security personnel, or another individual or entity. You better not answer that, WNBA, or y'all gonna get sued fast as hell. Confirm whether Mrs. Cloud's conduct has been or will be reviewed under any league policy governing player interactions with fans, including rules governing altercations that require player suspension, and state what accountability, if any, she, her team, and management will face. You can answer that one. But I know y'all ain't did nothing. Y'all better call her in this morning, say, hey, we talked to you, didn't we? Yeah, I'm right here. Good, bye. And then answer that one. Number 4, provide a full refund of the cost of my courtside tickets. You can answer that one. You ain't got to give me his money back. I don't think so. Preserve all materials relating to this incident, including relevant video footage, incident or security reports, communications concerning my attendance or removal, communications referring to my WNBA draft announcement or public advocacy for women's sports, and any applicable policies or event day directives. He's giving them 5 business days to respond. Why must I be like that? Why must I chase the cat? Nothing but the dog in me. Jesus. You talk about making your own problems. The WNBA can't get right. They just had a record-setting day. One of them Caitlin Clark games, I think it was Fever Sky. One of them games set a record, 3.5 million people. God dang. Walking around with the NFL now. That's insane. But what y'all doing? Y'all over there instigating some dude by actually avoiding the real conversation, which you need to have, which you should have, and which will set and define what you're standing for. And get this, you will get a lawsuit out the way, you will get all this BS noise out the way, and you will realign yourself to what your initiatives are and let the fans, public know what you stand for. But instead, it sounds like y'all stand for some BS. Because y'all can't just say, yeah, we're for women, biological women. Stop playing. Whew, silliness. All right.
They better not say nothing about no biological women. I'm talking about better not. What is a woman? I like apples. What is a woman? Yeah. I like to go skydiving. The one question that ain't gonna be answered is what is a woman? Stop asking. All right? That is not gonna be a question that's gonna be answered. But listen, we're going to get to the Lil Durk trial now. Because OTF Jam was on the stand again, and this dude, Trap Lord Ross, has been catching everything from the courtroom. So let's hear what he's talking about.
Lie that Jam had been caught out in. There was this conversation in a studio where they had apparently discussed a bounty. Now, specifically what happened, because I think there was some confusion about this, there was basically this discussion of like, you know, a bunch of OTF members had been in a studio in Atlanta, and Durk had basically said something along the lines of like, yeah, if anybody catches Quando and Lil Tim, they straight, like they good, they're gonna be straight. It's like it's good. And then apparently somebody in the room, not Durk, and it was never claimed that it was Durk that said this, but apparently somebody in the room basically put forward and said like what, like $500,000, like half a ticket, $1 million, and Durk just replied to that allegedly like listen, they're gonna be straight, they ain't gonna have to worry about nothing. Now that conversation was kind of brought up, that was like a big thing, and you know they were really pressing him on the basis that like, you know, Jam had basically not brought this up in an earlier recorded interview with the feds. And Jam had said previously, hey, look, like this conversation, there's more to it. There's more context to that. They played the clip that basically had Jam saying that, look, I never spoke with Durk about no bounty. I never spoke with him about Quando and Tim. But he basically clarified, he had his chance to get his lick back on Brian Seal.
So we got to know what he said to that, because, yeah, that is some damning evidence that if they got an audio of him saying that Lil Durk never agreed to pay no money, this whole thing is about Lil Durk paying money. This is a murder for hire case. So if Lil Durk didn't agree to pay no money, then Lil Durk is off. It's just, this ain't that.
And he basically clarified and explained, yeah, that's what I said, but the reason I said it is because we was in specific context of that conversation with the feds talking about one-on-one conversations. I ain't never had no one-on-one conversation with Durk until after the situation happened when I confronted him. So he was basically saying, look, in context, I was basically saying I ain't have no one-on-one conversations with him about bounty. That was a group conversation in a studio. So that kind of explained it a little bit, but Brian Steele clapped back. Brian Steele said, okay, what studio was it? Jam didn't know. He said, can you describe the studio? You know the details of it? He was like, bro, I don't know about studios. I don't know where it was. I don't even know my way around. I don't know how to book a flight. And so Brian Steele kind of clapped back at him on that basis. I'm not going to lie, that kind of landed. Like that was quite a good response. So I think he definitely created some reasonable doubt. But obviously, Jam, you know, he had his reply too. So look, it was kind of a bit of a good day. But anyway, we got the crazy insane tweakers out here just going crazy, man. They saying I'm saying Durk snitching. Could somebody find me where I said that? I literally never said that. Okay, people are out here spreading lies. Durk's definitely trying to blame it on Vonnie, but I ain't never say he's snitching. But anyway, look. So look, I ain't even acknowledging these fools, but that's what I'm dealing with out here, okay? And I'll be back with the next update next. All right.
What the hell is this boy? You telling me this is a Durk fan that's willing to throw his life away? This looks like a good kid. Is he from Chicago or LA? He's confronting somebody that got 2 big security guards. You standing there wasting your time talking about, is he calling somebody a snitch? So if these security guards wasn't there, that dude would jump on this dude? Golly, boy. This look like this is a white guy look like, or is he Hispanic? Like, what is he?
So look, I ain't even acknowledging these fools, but that's what I'm dealing with out here, okay? And I'll be back with the next update next. All right, so we got another crazy update, and this one now involves another very well-known Chicago figure, Mimo 600. So apparently, Jam revealed that basically they had the drop on Quando Rondo in Savannah, Georgia. They said that they was potentially going to do something to him in Savannah, in his home city, and basically, Jam said Mimo 600 fucked the whole thing up. He said that apparently when Mimo went out to Savannah to go and film that music video that he filmed up there, I think it was at the Fraser Homes apartment, right? But basically, all right, so basically, I'm getting crazy heckled right now. It's actually insane. We got all type of crazy heckling going on, literally screaming at me. But basically, I'm gonna keep it real. I'm gonna keep reporting. They saying Mimo 600 went and did the music video in Quando's hood and blew up the spot. They basically said he went and made the spot hot, and they couldn't go and slide. They couldn't go and slide after they got Quando's location. So apparently, Mimo 600, when people were saying Mimo 600 was out there dancing, you know, and I like Mimo 600. I rock with Mimo 600, but apparently he actually blew up and ruined one of the situations where they was gonna slide. So that one was pretty crazy. Listen.
That's crazy. So Quando Rondo life potentially got saved because another member went down there and trolled and did a song in the hood. So that brought a bunch of police to the area so they couldn't do any violence. So that's a good thing. That's crazy. So it seemed like Quando Rondo is who they really wanted. They didn't want Lil Pal. They wanted Quando Rondo. And now that he's out of jail, this could potentially be another thing because Quando Rondo hadn't made money in a long time. Not from those shows. Every time he had a show, it seemed like them people been sending them things at him, boy. So Quando Rondo is a very lucky individual. I don't know what his record label is set up as. I don't know where it's going to be safe for him to do a show. But they pretty much made it to where Quando Rondo can't eat in real life without making like a hit that he can't perform. He can only live off his streaming money because they haven't let him perform anywhere. Where is he able to perform at in Georgia? Like, that's crazy. He said his own gang giving Durk his location. Yeah, like that's crazy. So who does he trust? Who is he going to feel safe getting on the road with when he knows everywhere he goes, his cars get sprayed up at gas stations? I would make sure I have gas. You better not never need no gas. And he should always have a bulletproof vehicle. He don't have the luxury of riding around in a car that's not bulletproof. If somebody's out to take your life and they spraying at you at gas stations and everywhere you go, you're going to need a bulletproof vehicle. Level 5. Salute, KB. Keep winning. Bust life. Salute to you. Member for 52 months. Melanie Scott, member for 52 months. Salute. Yeah, but dang, boy, I feel for Quando. He just got out the feds, probably at a halfway house, and this whole situation could be started right back up if he get booked for a show anyway. That's crazy.
Mimo, I don't know. We got to find out what's going on with that. So look, there was a very, very big update that we just got in court. Okay, I've rushed out here to give you that update, but it was crazy. So apparently, they're saying that OTF Jam was actually having conversations secretly through another person on jailhouse tablet email systems with Vonnie. Now, the crazy thing about that is there was apparently some kind of.
And now he out. He in the halfway house now. They say he out the Fed. Salute to you, Russ. But if Vonnie and OTF Jam was talking, that's not a good thing because they had an order that they were not supposed to talk. So yeah, that's not a good thing. That could be a mistrial.
Apparently, they're saying that OTF Jam was actually having conversations secretly through another person on jailhouse tablet email systems with Vonnie. Now, the crazy thing about that is there was apparently some kind of protective order in place that basically meant that they weren't supposed to have no conversation. Now, Brian Steele was trying to propose this as basically this big thing of like, you not following the rules, you doing things you're not supposed to do, you out here having conversations with people you ain't supposed to be having conversations with. Now, that was very, very interesting on its own, but Jam clapped back. And just like he did when they were talking about these alleged bounties and stuff going on, they basically saying that Jam he had an excuse, he had an argument. He basically made the argument that he said, look, I wasn't talking to Vonnie to try and clear things up with a case or, get in cahoots to threaten him or to even try and, create any kind of situation where we was getting our story straight. He said the only reason I was talking to Vonnie is because I wanted the protective order lifted so I could go to a better jail. He said he was in a shitty jail. He called it, what did he say it was? Bogus. He said it was a bogus jail. It wasn't where he wanted to be. He was having to pay $6 every time he used the phone in there. And he was basically saying, look, I was speaking to Vonnie to try and get the protective order lifted. And they went back and forth about this for ages. When the jury left the room, the judge basically kind of admonished Brian Steele and basically said, look, you got to stop repeating and going over the same line of questioning over and over and over again. Because basically, like, it's understandable. It's understandable that he was trying to improve his situation in the jail. If you've got some evidence to show that they were in cahoots in any other type of way, then you can show it. But it's understandable why people would, want to have their situations improved. He said, look, you talking about people doing dishonest conduct while they were locked up. He's saying, hey, there were a bunch of allegations that Lil Durk had certain conduct while he was locked up. Obviously, we know about an Apple Watch and a couple of other things. But the other crazy thing that was part of that was obviously they said, and also when Lil Durk was complaining about his conditions at MDC and he was in solitary confinement for an extended period of time, that was brought up in front of the court too. And we straightened that out. We helped Durk out with his situation. So it's kind of, I think Brian Steele thought he had a couple of bombshells, but I'll be real with you. Jam always had a good answer to clap back about it with. So I do think that Jam and Brian Steele, they're going head to head. They both very, very serious. And I honestly, right now, I'm not sure. It feels like it's a bit of an even scorecard when it comes to Brian Steele and Jam. And Jam did eventually get on the stand. Well, he stayed on the stand, and now it's Didi's lawyer to question him. Didi's lawyer's turn to question him. And he didn't really get a chance to get into it before the break, but we are probably going to be taking a closer look at that very soon. And I'll let you know what he said. So look, there's obviously been a lot of talk about Jam being on the stand.
Dang, and there was some talk. I heard on academics, like an uncle or the father of Vonnie came up there, and he was talking about charges and how I'm sitting there listening to this, like, what in the? Y'all got to hear. I'll find it.
And a lot of interesting things that he said, but it's not just what he said, but it's also what he's doing. There was a moment where they kind of were going back and forth, and there was basically a little bit of a pause. All right, the lawyers had to talk about something procedural, and I'm not gonna lie, OTF Jam once again, he kind of keeps doing this thing where he shakes his head and laughs. He laughed and looked right at Durk and grinned at him, and Durk smiled and looked right back at him. I ain't gonna lie, Durk's smile was looking like one of them fake smiles that you do when you know you piss. You can like, yeah, one of them, okay? But the Durk and Jam dynamic is pretty fierce. They're definitely looking at each other. Jam ain't up there with his head down. He cracking jokes. He's smiling a lot. He basically clapping back at Brian Steele with a lot of confidence. I'm not going to lie. I feel like Jam's putting on a good performance. That's not to say Brian Steele's doing badly. I think they're both doing a really good performance. Clearly, Jam was well prepared for this. He was much more prepared and much more confident than YSL Woody was. But I'm honestly feeling like Jam is actually putting in a lot of good work. And basically, he really singing for his supper when it comes to, this cooperating and really trying to put Durk away. He clearly wants to put Durk away. He's not scared of Durk. He's looking right at Durk. He's smiling. He's laughing, chuckling at times at Durk. And it is intense.
That's crazy. This is a dude that's in the video with Lil Durk. This is the dude that Lil Durk done shouted out several times. And now he chuckling at Durk and his life on the line. Dang, that's interesting.
So I just can't believe what I'm seeing, to be honest with you. But Jam in there with the utmost confidence. He had the whole courtroom laughing at certain points. Like Brian Steele saying to him stuff, like Brian Steele's being slick, being like, oh yeah, Mr. Minister. Jam talking about, bro, that is not my name, sir. He's talking about, that ain't my name. We talking about Mr. Minister, that ain't my name. Like, he having little jokes, he having his little moments. I'm not gonna lie, I'm impressed. There was there was one moment, okay, where they basically, Brian Steele said, you were wearing sweatpants when you did the hit that said rats to riches. Jam said rats to riches. He said that said rags to riches. He said, you a lawyer, you're supposed to be able to read, no? He basically said, ain't no way I would have warned them if they said rats to riches. Now, there were a couple of times where Brian Steele was clearly trying to get him flustered, basically, you know, rubbing it in his face, calling him a snitch, saying, what is a rat? Being a rat is snitching. That's what you're doing right now. Like, that's what you're doing. You're a snitch. You're a corroborator. He called him a snitch to his face. And Jam basically was like, well, yeah, that's what I'm doing right now. Yeah. But it's like, he don't see himself. He don't identify as a snitch. But clearly that's what's going on. All right. So that's the situation. But yeah, I feel like there's been some pretty fierce exchanges between them. Brian Steele definitely did a good job, but Jam did a good job back. So I'll let you guys know as soon as I hear more information. I'm going to do a few more updates. But yeah, stay tuned. But it is wild in that courtroom. I'm not going to lie. So one of the craziest things that's been alleged in this whole thing was that OTF Jam's baby mama had been murdered. Now, I wasn't sure. There was a woman, a postal worker that got murdered. People were trying to say that was her. Now, I knew that that was false. I knew that was debunked, but there was rumors that there was another woman and the situation was real. Now, there's rumors that Durk might have been involved and it was retaliation. Now, that was unconfirmed, but it was confirmed. He said his baby mother was actually murdered. And he gave some very, very interesting backstory. Obviously, he spoke about, you know, spinning this yarn to his baby mom, basically saying, oh, he's going to be home in 18 months. So look, I don't know what his family situation was, but I know that it was some kind of situation where he basically, it sounds like he had two women pregnant at the same time, his wife and his baby mama. And he was obviously caught on these jail recordings saying he's going to be back in 18 months. Now, he caught Brian Steele out on a mistake in this one because basically they were going back and forth and he was saying, you really thought you was going to be out in 18 months for this? And he was like, nah, I was talking about my gun case when I got caught in the car with the gun. I plead, I got 3 years. I thought I was going to be out in half in 18 months. I was just telling.
Oh, so he was talking about a whole different case. So that must have been before he got charged with this. So yeah, that would make sense. If he got 3 years, he'd be out in 18 months. That makes sense. I thought they were saying that he'd be out in 18 months off admitting to 3 bodies. Now that wouldn't make absolutely no sense. If he's snitching on Durk, on Lil Durk, he been an informant. Yeah, that's what they saying. He got caught with a gun, and he pled out or something. I think they came to him in the jail when he was in the jail on those 12 years. I think Lil Durk shouted him out, and that was the feds in, like, hey, we got a project for you, or we're going to lean on you like a kickstand. And he fell for it. He had to. Or he said what he wanted. He wanted a release date.
Him that to keep it cool. Obviously, I'm knowing I ain't getting out in 18 months. He's like, I'm just trying to put on a positive front. I was trying to protect my family's feelings. So that was an interesting point. And Brian still kind of wasn't really, you know, having a great response to that. But what was crazy is what he said after that. Now, you might remember that there was an infamous post going around.
And that's crazy. If he said that, because I was thinking that, I'm like, what if he just say that he was just trying to protect the women in his life? Any man want to comfort their girl. Don't worry, baby, I'll be back. Hold it down. You want to give them a sense of hope. That's what I would do, even if I'm lying. So I'm like, what if he said that? That would kill that argument right there. And that's what he used.
Round where Jam had basically compared himself to Sammy the Bull, and he had basically, you know, put his address up. He basically inferred that he was on house arrest. He put his address up on Instagram story and basically said, anyone got a problem with me? You know what I'm saying? Here's my address. You know where I'm at. Now, it turns out he admitted that was his sister's address, his sister that he don't rock with, and he had done that on purpose to scare her. So apparently the story goes, when his baby mom was actually murdered, his son was then sent to live with his sister, but that sister had then given that son to the other sister who Jam don't talk to. So he basically said, I put her low online as associated with me to scare her. Now, Brian still clapped back, talking about this was a dangerous situation you created. People were going to do a drive-by. And he was like, look, no, that never happened. And he was like, I was in my feelings. I was mad. That's just something I did. I was trying to scare her. But that was low-key crazy that he even admitted to doing that. He was basically saying, look, it's so hurtful when you lose your child or, you know, have your child taken from.
This joker crazy. He put his own sister at risk when he got mad. God, dog. A known unaliver put out an address as if he was there that could have caused people to spin on his sister. That's diabolical, boy. He must have been banking on the fact that they were so scared of him that they wouldn't even try him like that. Or he just didn't give a dang at the time about his sister.
He said, I'm that child's only parent. His mother was murdered. He said, I was in my feelings about that. So I put the Addy online and I was trying to scare her. That probably did scare her, right? That probably did go to the feds. Now, that definitely didn't look good for the jury. But the fact that Jam was willing to actually offer his side of it and basically explain what he felt about the whole situation, low-key added some context. Every time Brian Steele was trying to pull a fast one on Jam, he was clapping back with quite good context, to be completely honest with you. That's my opinion, all right? But anyway, I will let you know. There's so much more that I was writing so fast, man, but I'm going to let you guys know what else happened.
A lot happened this morning in the Little Durk murder for hire trial. Brian Steele continued his cross-examination of Jam, also known as Casey Hester.
Nah, we don't want to play this dude one because I don't know who that is. I don't know who that is right there. We don't want to play that one. I'm going to DJ Academics. DJ Academics had a bunch of people on there. OTF Jam blamed Mimo 600 for ruining the hit Quando in Georgia. Oh. Hold on. This is the end of sentence. Kick.
Better chance at getting out of this situation because Jam is alleging they tried to nail Quando and Mimo 600 messed it up. They got the low and Mimo went first shooting the music video in his hood and blowing up the whole situation before they could do what they came to do. But Mimo is clapping back saying you're lying. And apparently he's got proof and we're going to break it all down.
A few months ago, I realized I was probably overpaying for car insurance.
Getting grilled once again by Brian Steele. Now, there was talk yesterday about this sort of, alleged lie that Jam had been caught out in. There was this,
and we
Jam, he had said it on Jam didn't know. He said, "Can you describe the studio? You know the Steele
thing that goes against Durk or Brian Steele." His whole comment section is like, "Oh, you culture vulture, you this, you that, da da da." And then when he breaks news that like Jam is getting spanked in the courtroom, they're all like, "Yeah, yeah." It's fucking the switch up is fucking crazy, but. Apparently, Mimo 600 ruined an early chance to slide on Quando. Y'all know what slide is. By going to the spot and recording a music video rather than shooting. And this has to be one of the most dishonorable accusations you can be accused of. Instead of shooting your op, you shot a music video. But before we start crucifying Mimo 600, who surprisingly spoke on behalf of Jam way before this happened, they asked him, "Hey, do you think Jam's snitching?" And he was like, "Man, fuck no, you got to show me the proof. I know how Jam is. He knew his reputation, whatever. Now we're here. Now Jam's throwing him under the bus, saying the reason they couldn't nail Quando is because he wanted to shoot a music video. So let's see.
The update, and this one now involves another very well-known Chicago figure, Mimo 600. So apparently, Jam revealed that basically they had the drop on Quando Rondo in Savannah, Georgia. They said that they was potentially going to do something to him in Savannah, in his home city. And basically, Jam said Mimo 600 fucked the whole thing up. He said that apparently when Mimo went out
When sided with Jam and reminded Brian that Durk also broke the rules in jails and wanted to approve.
No, we heard all this.
So apparently, after Jam got locked up by the feds, he was still in YSL Woody didn't want Sugg to be found guilty when he was on the stand. He felt guilty for all them interrogation videos.
Changes between them. Brian Steele definitely did a good job, but Jam did a good job back. So
yeah, we saw this.
And we got OTF Jam admitting his baby mama got murdered. And he put out his sister's address saying it was his on Insta to scare her for taking his son. So remember, the Jam claimed he was out on house arrest. He wants smoke with whoever wants smoke because everyone was calling him a rat, and he dropped an addy. Well, apparently he dropped his sister's address for taking, I don't understand, her son?
the craziest things, one of the craziest things that's been alleged in this whole thing was that OTF Jam's baby mama had been murdered. Now, I wasn't sure. There was a woman, a postal worker, that got murdered. People were trying to say that was her. Now, I knew that that was false. I knew that was debunked. But there was rumors that there was another woman and the situation was real. Now, there's rumors that Durk might have been involved and it was retaliation. Now, that was unconfirmed. But it was confirmed. He said his baby mother was actually murdered. And he gave some very, very interesting backstory. Obviously, he spoke about, spinning this yarn to his baby mom, basically saying, he's going to be home in 18 months. So look, I don't know what his family situation was, but I know that it was some kind of situation where he basically, it sounds like he had two women pregnant at the same time, his wife and his baby mama. And he was obviously caught on these jail recordings saying he's going to be back in 18 months. Now, he caught Brian Steele out on a mistake in this one, because basically they were going back and forth. And he was saying, you really thought you was going to be out in 18 months for this? And he was like, nah, I was talking about my gun case when I got caught in the car with a gun. I got 3 years. I thought I was going to be out in half in 18 months. I was just telling him that to keep it cool. Obviously, I'm knowing I ain't getting out in 18 months. He's like, I'm just trying to put on a positive front.
Let me go to academics. Yeah, these people tell on themselves. They tell on themselves in the rap songs. He should have never mentioned no real, actual, unalive or nowhere.
So, and he tries to get an answer out of him, like, so what do you think, given that? And the person usually agrees with him. So it looks like Steele is bulldozing this FBI agent, which kudos to Steele. You know what I mean? Group text from 2023 discussing Jam. He gonna tell soon. Didi says, man, you think he can break us down? Loyal says, Feds be talking to everybody. Durk says, man, as long as we don't break, man, they can talk to anybody. Anyway, back to Ross.
back in December the 3rd, 2020, after Von died, where Durk was saying they need Flight's blood. He's saying who? He's saying Dee Dee. He's saying Booney Mo. He's saying Christopher Wright. So another thing that came up was that they basically kind of went back and forth and showed some of the stuff that King Von was posting when he was still alive. Now, Von actually posted an Instagram of himself and Lil Durk when he was alive, and it had a pretty crazy caption. It said, if Smirk want an N-word dead, then an N-word dead on, oh, you know how I'm coming. If you got it, I got it. If I got it, you gave it to me. Durk's one of my top 5 people alive. I love you. Now, look, that don't prove anything. King Von made that before he was even dead, but it just kind of like builds up this close relationship between, you know, Von and Durk, and the get back and the slide in and the footage of Von getting killed, which was obviously shown previously. Now, we then moved on. This detective gave a lot of information, but we then moved on to cross-examination. And look, I am a little bit upset. I'm a little bit salty that Brian Steele said a few things that I know not to be true from my research. But that said, I'll keep it real. Brian Steele did an amazing job, and he really, really grilled this detective. It kind of gives a bit of a stale taste in your mouth when it's like, damn, he really grilling them, but then he's saying a few things that aren't right. He's messing a few names up. He got King Von's name wrong numerous times. He called him Kayvon Bennett numerous times. And it's just kind of like, bro, like, come on, man. But I don't think the judge knew. I don't think the judge worked it out. I don't think he cared. And we're going to do a full update on everything that was going on with Brian Steele right after this video. I'll let you know what was going on. He did actually do a very good.
Okay.
There was a crazy moment in court today when they finally played Lil Durk's unreleased Redman music video. They didn't play the whole video, and they didn't even play the song, but they played.
By the way, the video was never released. Here is Durk did play a portion of the video at a show. I'm going to play that video that you could see what video it was. It's unreleased. It's Redman. So just look at the video in the background right here. You see Smirk?
Even worse is it had all this dramatic kind of movie style score music in the background, and if I'm real with you, it really built up a vibe. It really built up this kind of terrifying murder true crime vibe in the video that I'm sure Durk is probably regretting from when he made that video. But it was very interesting because Brian Steele kind of clapped back. He said that this video is art. He pointed out that Quando Rondo had also made a video where they depicted Durk getting shot and killed.
Quick, because I got to give you some details. Let's go back into it, chat. Y'all ready? So we pretty much have all the co-conspirators now listed. Remember, there was 7 co-conspirators. Actually, there was 5 at first, and then with the superseding indictment, it was up to 7. Let me explain to you who everyone is. Co-conspirator 1 was always Durk. They superseded the complaint, and then they added Durk in as a charged person. So he was no longer listed as co-conspirator 1. So co-conspirator 1 was Durk. Co-conspirator 2 was OTF Jam. Co-conspirator 3 was Jason. He was the guy who booked the flights. You're going to hear about his name. He's unindicted. He's unindicted. Remember what I told you? This was someone who just either works for Durk or works for a travel agency. They had nothing to do with the murder. They just booked the flight. Okay? Obviously, they probably turned over their records. They definitely got subpoena, probably proffered. But they're unindicted. Okay? So you probably won't even see them in this case because they have already given all responsive records. So number 1 is co-conspirator 1 is Durk. Co-conspirator 2 is OTF Jam. Co-conspirator 3 is Jason Smith. Is that Smith? His last name? Co-conspirator 4, and this is going to be an interesting one. We're always trying to figure out who this is. Okay? A lot of people thought this was Brick Baby. According to what now the government has kind of like showed their hand a bit with the trial starting, it's being somewhat revealed that co-conspirator 4, you know who that is? Dewey Lowe. Remo, shout out to Remo. He's one of the people who kind of figured it out as well. He also just reported on it. That's what he said.
It's actually about to come out in the courtroom within today or the next couple of days, but there's been some text messages that's been leaked out in the courtroom and
by the way, the reason why they found out that it's co-conspirator 4 is Quando is because you're going to start seeing those text threads. Remember co-conspirator 4 was the person who dropped the low. You'll hear a lot where they're in the group messages where Duty Low is basically saying, oh, I got a bitch that could get that nigga low. I got a bitch that could get his low. I got a bitch that could get his low from even when he was in Georgia. Okay. And that's going to track to be that he's co-conspirator 4. Okay. So it's not Brick Baby and it's actually not a Rolling 60. We thought it was someone that was a Crip because they claimed that person lived in California, but it seems that Duty Low just lives in California. Which does he? I thought he still lived in Atlanta. Anyway, they had said that co-conspirator 4 was a California resident.
Much. A day after Vaughn died, Durk texts Duty Lowe and Quando's number and the number of someone in Savannah who might be able to get his location. That was actually said in court. It's actually going to come out to find out that, well, you guys are actually going to find out that Duty Lowe is actually co-conspirator number 4, and it was actually not Brick Baby. So everybody who's been saying Brick Baby is a snitch, yeah, you can tell that it's not Brick Baby. Duty Lowe is actually allegedly the person who dropped the location, and he's going to.
And my bad. Jason, this is Jason. He's unindicted. And by the way, Duty Lowe, who's co-conspirators 4, is a unindicted. He's a unindicted co-conspirator. Okay. which means maybe they tried to get an indictment, but there was no indictment that was gotten for Duty Low and for Jason, but they probably did get submitted to the grand jury as well. Or maybe they went to those guys and said, hey, listen, if you just willingly give up your phone and you come do an interview with us, we don't think you're a part of this shit anyway. We won't charge you. Okay? Now, just to let you know, this doesn't mean people are cooperating. This just means that to this plot, the government felt that these people, either they didn't have enough evidence to charge them or they didn't have substantial amount of worth to be in the indictment. Okay? But this is Jason. This is the guy who was booking flights, supposedly. Am I on the right one? Yeah. Yeah. There you go. So he's booking the flights. Okay.
I know this Fruit Cup ain't just come over here in my chat and do that. Get out of here, Fruit Cup. But this is crazy. OTF Jam and all these guys tried to unalive Quando Rondo, and they end up unaliving Little Pav. And that's crazy that they didn't just wait. To me, and I don't have no dog in the fight, but if they would have stayed out of Beverly Hills, if they would have kept it in Georgia, they would have had a way better go of it than to mess around in California. I just don't understand how that made any sense to me. They should have stayed. If you done got away with it 3 or 4 times in Georgia, then that should tell you something. Your opportunity might be better in Georgia than mess around in California. So you can see why Jam is upset.
And then Duty Low is 4. So let's go through it again. Durk is 1. OTF Jam is 2, which, by the way, after they superseded to the 3rd and 4th time, they actually changed co-conspirator 2 to PW1. So he becomes protected witness because he's cooperating at that point. So co-conspirator 1, Durk, he gets charged and indicted. So you never hear about co-conspirator 1 again. Co-conspirator 2 becomes PW1. That's Jam. Co-conspirator 3, that's Jason, flight booker. Co-conspirator 4 is unindicted, which is Duty Low, who was booking flights. Co-conspirator 5 is, we're going to realize, and some of these things you got to deduce from text messages, is also unindicted. Booty Mo. Okay? Co-conspirator 6, AJ from Mike City. Co-conspirator 7 is Preston Powell, a.k.a. Marley. Co-conspirators 6 and 7 have been removed. They're in a separate case. So you guys now know all the co-conspirators. Remember we were racking our brain? You see how easy we got it now that the case has started? Okay.
7 people against 1 person. Lord have mercy. I don't know how Durk gonna get out of this, but damn, you got your number 1 shooter is saying that he did this in your name. They better hope that Brian Steele can discredit this guy and make him look like he only doing this for money, or doing this not for money, but for a reduced sentence to get out. It's more beneficial for him to say this, so he'll say anything. That's the only thing that's gonna help.
Going to be named as co-conspirator 4 if you guys already ain't read between the lines already. But just because he's named as co-conspirator 4 doesn't mean that he is snitching. I don't believe Duty Low is snitching because, I mean, at the end of the day, you just seen him out there with Lil Durk's lawyers and shit. So, like, nah, he's not snitching or anything. But Duty Low is co-conspirator 4 from what I see, as it says he's the person who allegedly dropped the location.
Now, keep in mind, they were trying to lock up Duty Low, clearly. Remember, they said they subpoenaed his iCloud, right? They did some subpoenaing for him, right? For whatever reason, they didn't come up with a charge.
Who else? I mean, around OTF could drop the location. If you guys go back into your research, you can kind of see everything lines up. But hey. All right, it's actually about to come out in the courtroom within today.
All right, so we got that under the books. Let's go back to our Taylor.
A different time. This was on December 3rd of 2022, but they brought up these text messages presumably to show that this was a normal occurrence. Jason Smith booking flights for Durk because Jason Smith booked flights leading up to the alleged murder for hire and the hit on Quando Rondo. We also saw a post by King Von on his Instagram. The very first line I was able to write down, it said, if Smirk, which is Durk, wants a dude dead, then that dude is dead. And dude is the word they were using there and when they were saying this out loud. And King Von's post was later brought up on cross-examination by Brian Steele. And Brian Steele asked Farmby, is what King Von was really saying was that Banks gave him opportunity, that Banks gave him a career? And Farmby confirmed, yes, that is in fact what was saying. We have a lot going on over there. Next, we talked about text or a video. A video was shown in the courtroom of a video that they called Red Man, I believe. Yes, a Red Man video. And this was found on a phone connected to Durk. And this was allegedly never released. May have been stipulation about that, but this video was allegedly never released. But on Durk's phone, it was professional.
Yes, I see someone on Kick Awkward Stoner. Yes, Durk is in the courtroom. He is looking Jamie the Bull directly in the eye. We'll probably get, for all my independent journalists in that building, we want to know, is he looking Durk in the eye? Is his head down on the stand? Is Durk head in his hand? Is Durk crying? Is Durk tearing up? Is Durk looking to the left? Is he looking, what's happening? Is Durk mean mugging him? Is Durk eyes open up like the portals of hell? Like, you know how Durk be? How is it? What?
This boy here crazy. So you know how Durk be? His little Durk eyes open up like the portal of hell. They said, "But this is why I don't use iCloud. Mine is turned on without my permission." Dang. Yeah, you gotta use iCloud with these phones. You gotta use something. Damn, his own. This is crazy, man. His own people. You on trial with your own people. They say Lil Durk will jump in the car with you. That was Jam rap. That Lil Durk will jump in the car with him. Interesting. $40-something million.
He gonna tell soon. Wilson says he think he can break us down. Someone labeled loyal in the group chat says beware of everybody, not just Jam, and Jam is Hester. And then Durk ends, like, the last message we see in that group chat is Durk saying, as long as we don't break, they can tell them whatever. So then that is the end of Farmby's testimony with the prosecution, and then Brian Steele comes on the scene and had a lot to contradict, and it got very emotional because he brings back up King Von's murder, which we've seen a video of yesterday in court. We don't see the video again today, but when we saw the video, King Von is on the ground and Quando Rondo drags him, and this is something Brian Steele brings up. He says that King Von is dragging, Quando Rondo is dragging King Von like a.
We love you, girl. We got a lot going on right now. Jamie the Bull is on the stand. We got to jump around. Jamie the Bull is on the stand. Oh man, we need to update bad. We need to update bad, chat. Here we go. What's this? Okay.
Lil Durk, day 3, trial update, what happened in the morning. First off, recording outside of the courthouse in Los Angeles in a suit is crazy. It is so hot, just walking down the streets of my hotel. I'm sweating balls. Shout out to Ross, keep doing your thing. Here's what happened on day 3.
Oh, man, City Nash done broke something. These dudes getting married as if they getting out. Listen to this, y'all. Vonnie just got married to a woman.
Get out of the fence. Vonnie got plans. That's why he got married. Remember when we dropped that on Big Bank's platform?
You gonna show it to me before you say it? Let me see it before you.
I'm gonna just do this. Hit play. Now you don't know who you're looking at, but that right there is a federal informant who's trying to get a rapper life right now, who took government funding and bought a fiance wedding ring, is on video phone.
Who is he? That dude?
That's OT and Vonnie.
Who is that?
A snitch. Trying to get a little Durk life.
What he did? Oh, he got this ring?
You see that man on that? Describe what's going on in the video.
Hold on, let me play. It's a dude. It's a dude on the phone right here on the cell phone from a jail call, look like, smiling, and it's a girl showing a ring. She's smiling and shit.
Like she getting engaged to him, right?
Oh, look, let me see. Let's play it. How you turn sound up?
That's the self-destruct button.
Yeah, what kind of phone is it?
And then,
Investigator phone.
Nah, that's an Obama phone.
Okay, you know what? I'll call you right back. Oh my God.
You got that on there? You can see it? So we'll break it down now. What that is?
If a man is facing a life sentence and on camera shooting the shit out of a nigga, why would he be buying her a diamond ring like that? Because we all know.
You say that's who? That's the dude that's locked up with Durk?
Yeah.
And he locked up with Durk for what he charged with?
Murder for hire.
And he getting engaged? That's what you're saying?
He bought the ring. He sent the money.
And murder for hire ends up, normally you get a life sentence. So if they worked out where he don't have to do life, and you're getting engaged, how long of time do y'all think this girl is going to wait on him? They got married for visits if they don't get out. So he's hoping that he goes somewhere that they'll let him have sex with his wife. We'll see how long that lasts.
That's a nice ring too. It is.
Which would indicate he coming home, ain't it? That's I'm coming home.
He probably trying to just lock her down while he finna be gone away. She too pretty, look like she gonna be locked down, ain't man? Like she know you saying she knows something.
I'm not saying nothing. I'm a podcaster and a journalist. That's what y'all be saying.
That's what I be saying, but I'm trying to get. I don't know what you're saying, bro. So we're gonna skip past that.
I already said it, but let me.
Well, yeah,
let me simplify.
that's what I'm saying.
I'm
Be setting ass.
a peanut butter and jelly it for you real quick. This is what this is. That nigga's coming home. Well, I found out OTF Gems playing. Hold on, I need a crazy introduction from my biggest fan.
About it, and he got to talking about what the rapper 6ix9ine doing. This is on this fat musty fucking gorilla Sadie Nash. This the bias shit. He said, but you don't like this.
I appreciate the introduction, but I'll get to you on Instagram in a moment. But you come up in this video too.
Now, with what's going on,
this is a Sadie Nash
exclusive. You know what? I'm just gonna worry about myself and on my kids. Guess what, B-So? Yeah. I can't go back to this. I can't be in life no more. No. A good guy will that disappoint my ass over. Man, I can look myself in the mirror every day. It is what it is. So, yeah. And you know what's so crazy? You know what's so crazy? The streets, excuse me. After I grew up a little bit mentally, the streets became something that I saw for what it was. The streets is full of misguided individuals. The streets is full of people who are powerless, that's looking for some way to be powerful. The streets.
Oh, so that go against everything that 6ix9ine is saying. He talking like he's supposed to be talking now. He talking like a grown man. So a sidewalk N-word is what it seemed like he would reform to. So yeah, 6ix9ine, I don't know. You got a good point on this one.
Are full of lies, deceit, greed, envy. The streets are full of all the stuff, a melting pot of things that makes somebody boil down to nothing in society. In the real corporate world, my mama told me when I was a short, she said, baby, she called me with a 4-5 in my book bag. She said, baby, these white folks ain't scared of nobody with no sagging pants and a big gun with their hat turned a certain way. You white folks ain't scared of that. They laughing at that. She said, you know what they scared of? They scared of somebody who can think, who can enter their world and think. I say, damn, I thought about that, and I as I got older, I started realizing what she really was saying. That's why they was scared of people like Larry, Jeff Ford, because they was more political than that illusion that was getting put up. They was more political, and they was looking at it like, damn, no, hell no, they trying to cross over into our world. But see, by then, it was too late because they had gained so much of a reputation that they could use that against them. So now it's like, okay, I'm slamming them under these pretenses. But if you start off like that, politically, they may use nothing criminally against you. You know what I mean? So that's why they use the word in court, reasonable suspicion. They pull people over for what you call reasonable suspicion. They say, do you have any reasonable, articulable suspicion to believe that a crime has been committed or a crime was about to be committed? And if you can't have that, then you don't have anything. So reasonable and articulable could boil down to the fact that I'm a felon. That's reasonable to believe that a crime may have been being committed because I followed the actions of what this would look like. But if I was a regular individual, that same action wouldn't look like that, and it wouldn't be reasonable or articulable. So what I'm saying is now we have to fight even harder to gain a better and a bigger reputation as a different type of individual, calling that reinventing yourself as something that makes sense. Because at the end of the day, it's like, what do you want? What do you want? And can't nobody knock you for what you want. This is what I want for my life. I don't want this for my life. I don't want that for my life. Like what Twister say, I thought we got in this to get out of pistol handling. Now it's possible motherfuckers can start vanishing. Fuck Anderson, I be tweaking Robert Lee. He said the street game, we get in to get out. See, the difference is a lot of people get in and get it confused and they want to stay in it. And that last breath that a lot of niggas take. Huh? Yeah, that last breath. That last breath. That's why we in position. That's why we in position right now. That's what it's about to. And it's about a lot of image. Not fun. I ain't getting that. Wait, street. Yeah. Hey, hear me, Jim? Hey, a motherfucker sit up here and.
So I don't know who this is on the phone call, and I think Seti Nash going to explain it. But they not talking about no unaliving nobody. They sounding like they done changed their life over for the better. So let's keep going, and then hopefully Seti Nash will explain who this is on the phone call.
And thug it to death. I'm talking about that last breath that a motherfucker take. You know some of them last breaths that a nigga be taking, they be crying. They be like, Lord, please don't let me die. Like they calling on the Lord. Somebody that you ain't never even worshiped. Like you was living, breathing, healthy on this planet Earth. But when them last breaths come, when you realize that you dying and everything is getting taken away from you, now you want to change your life? When it's too late? Niggas, no. So, like you say, an image, it lets me know that people really don't want that. Oh, it's just all good and all fun and games while it's happening. Like I told somebody, I say, why are you laughing at somebody that just got killed? Are you laughing? But let it be one of your people. You crying. Let somebody whack your auntie, your mama, your son, your baby mama. Let somebody do that to your people. Oh, now you all tears. You crocodile tears. That means that it's not okay. You know what I'm saying? That means that it's not okay.
Whoever this is spitting facts. But maybe they spit it a little too late because these people are on trial for their life. But whoever this is spitting facts. And I can't wait for them to tell me who this is. But he's spitting the real talk because everybody counting the numbers, running the score up, talking about who they smoking on when you unalive in somebody else's family. But when it's you, it's, oh, my baby, or oh, my friend, or oh, my homeboy. So you know it's wrong.
And we got to realize what's real, what's fake, what's not okay, what's okay. And we got to follow them directions and align our life with that shit. Like, you my brother, I love you. I don't give a fuck what a motherfucker say, how, and how they say it. And I'm going to stand on that until the day I die. Like, it is what it is. I don't give a fuck. Guess what, bro? Motherfucker still ain't going to stop my life. Guess what, bro? I'm way more of a real nigga than Scotty James now. Let this guy to jail. He ain't bro. Hey, you ain't even say y'all ain't even lead. Y'all ain't even in the same category. I wouldn't even put his ass tweaker. Goofy, but all I'm saying is Atlantic was offering him that much money. Right. But he came home. So what am I gonna offer me? Man, I ain't letting no motherfucker stop my vision, bro. It is what it is. Bro. Yeah. And look, I ain't done. Hey, look, hey, it's so funny because I be telling them, they be wanting to know something so bad. I be like, nah, he good, he straight. Where he at? I be lying. I think he down there in Florida somewhere. They be moving him around like every 30 days, every 60 days, you know. Like, yeah, you know, he be tearing that bitch up. Like, I be lying. This call will be terminated in 2 minutes. They be wanting to know something so bad, man. But man, it is what it is. Everybody needs some talk about. Everybody wants the internet, bro. The internet, fuck with it, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you. They fuck with it, bro. That shit made motherfuckers. Hey, look, soon as the phone. Hey, soon as the phone, they got to go send that to my wife, bro. I got you. I'm finna do it. And I'm finna call your OG and check up on to see how she's doing and shit, and get the information so I can send them clothes over. All right, bet. My wife needs that though. I got you. Yeah, I got you. All right, I love you. Yeah, I love you too, bro.
Sorry for the Seti Nash exclusive tagline, but you know how that go. Let's understand what is going on. He a real nigga. He is so contrite and all of this stuff. All of these things. That man think he coming home to a record deal. He think he gonna be bouncing booties with 6ix9ine. He thinks that it's gonna be a smoothly, cooly world for that man when he hop out. Man, listen, I'm gonna tell you what's Ollie and I'm gonna tell you what's not Ollie, homie. If y'all know what Ollie mean, that means OLLY. It's like a layup. What's really good, like the spectacular shit. That ain't Ollie, because what you don't get is, bruh, you were supposed to bring home that slam dunk. That's why you ain't Ollie, thug. So you understand what you just did on that stand was get caught lying about a bunch of things. You bring up the 650,000 part later on, but you just said it was just known that that was going to happen if you would have run into Quando Rondo. But you said actually that Lil Durk and them didn't do all of that as far as talk to you about none of that shit. You say that you didn't really have a damn. What didn't you have with King Von? Did you say this?
But did you have a relationship with Von?
I knew him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I knew. And when I was in jail, you know what I'm saying? A couple of times, me and Bubba, one of them was from the town that's locked up, my boy.
Mm.
You know, we've been on the phone with Von and sent motherfuckers pictures. He was a real nigga, you know what I'm saying? So you ain't have to necessarily have an everyday relationship with him, you know what I'm saying? If he could do it, you know what I'm saying? He was right.
So that must have been OTF Jam on the phone.
Whatever kid be caught for, I'm gonna pick that bitch up. He's a real nigga, motherfucker know who he is.
Yeah, RP Von, man.
For sure.
Good shit. Hey, man, but what's the
So you gonna come out and do more interviews? You gonna get a record deal? You gonna be bigger than 6ix9ine because you're a real one. Don't worry, I got some more exposing on Jam to do. And when y'all tune in and see this, you're not gonna believe all these tough guy stories because there's cats already coming out like, bro, we used to. Anyways, so here's the deal. What was pointed out flawlessly by Brian Steele is this wasn't about no I feel bad or nothing like that. This was all about selfishness. This was his plan. His major plan was, man, I'm finna tail and run up my money. And this is why, y'all remember when Nip said everybody can't go? This is exactly why everybody cannot go. Because of cats like OTF Jam, who ain't OTF, it's just Jam. Jammy the Bull, Jammy it up, Jammy whatever the hell y'all want to call him. It is what it is. But I find this part interesting. You got cats condoning that shit. When you did what you did and you claim somebody told on you and nobody was there for you? Huh? See, really, it sounds like it's all about his quote unquote wife. Let me help you out. Somebody will be sleeping with that woman, making sweet love and sweet all this stuff and might even put a baby in her. You're going to have to deal with the fact of you in there by yourself. Jam is not walking out of this jam. Jam was dumb enough to have some cool little bit of money, stay certain places, and managed to not get out the mix. So when y'all had to act like street dudes and all this shit, part of being a street dude is staying in the streets. I don't confuse jail dudes, prison dudes with street dudes because street dudes are in the streets. Prison dudes and jail dudes are in jail. Jim, you're a prison dude. And that's ultimately what you get. What you just.
Damn, he like, you a prison dude, so you gonna stay a prison dude. Damn. Golly. He's an expendable. He probably gonna do life in prison. Durk, I don't know whether he had him doing all this stuff or not, but Durk might come home. I told you this how this worked. God, he's a prison dude. Jesus, it's over.
But y'all let me know y'all thoughts on this one. We hit the 300K mark. Make sure you tune in. Y'all know what we're gonna do. If you don't, then hey, don't worry.
Salute. Man, listen, man. Listening to these stories, seeing Little Durk got his life is on the line, seeing Yellow Beezy, his life is on the line, seeing all these people, Keywan White, his life is on the line. All these people that's participating in this nonsense, they life be on the line. So it just makes my decision of being a sidewalk seem more and more important, seem more and more amazing. I don't have to worry about looking over my shoulders. The sidewalk dudes are up. Salute to y'all, man. I'm up out of this thing. I'm gone. I appreciate everybody who super chatted, but I gotta go get me something to eat. I'm gone.